Bernard, alright. I've lost my drive. all motivation is leaving my bones.
Yeah, I would have put Lane in a room, and I think after that is when I would have started working on the wand.
Right. So Bernard, you take Renee or you take Lane up to one of the rooms and you lay her down in a bed. Her breathing is kind of steadied, and now that she's kind of resting, she seems to be stabilizing, but she's cold to the touch. You go and you work on the wand and the staff or the scepter or whatever it is, and you you do what I said you do, which is great. Fuck you, Sinch.
Two natural 19s, baby.
As you're down there and you're putting the finishing touches on this, you hear a knock on the basement door.
Ah, yes. Come on in.
The door pushes open and you see Siam. He pokes his head inside, looks around, and then steps inside and closes the door. Hey, we need to talk.
Sure.
I want you to let Vice go.
Excuse me?
You heard me. I want you to let him go. Whatever magic you have over him, I want you to take it out of him. Fix him.
I blink at him a few times and say, and then send you back into a wasteland where you'll wander around until you die.
He scowls at you. I'm not saying that. But he's dying, Bernard. He's not going to make it to the end of this trip at this rate. Although I'm sure you don't care about that, do you?
Oh dear. Well, we're stuck in between a rock and a hard place here. What do you propose you'll do once you're back in the wasteland? No caster to bring you back. No Pollux to bring you back. You will get the artifact, and then what? What will you do?
What are you saying? If you don't torture Vice, you're not going to get Caster back? You're going to hang that over our heads?
Of course I'm not saying that. Will you think these sentences through and think about what you're saying? There's no guarantee we can even find Caster. And we may not find him until well after you've already got that artifact. You could be frozen down in that wasteland, and then me and Hjalmar will have to come and pry it from your frozen dead hands.
I'm willing to take that chance, Bernard. I'm tired of letting you get your way. Whatever you do, whatever you touch, you break it. You hurt people. Vice has been nothing but true to us. And what do? You infect him with your Zinch magic. You give him that arm. Now he's coughing up blood every day. He's sick. He's not going to make it to the end of the artifact at this rate.
You need to have a little bit of faith.
Faith?
You're almost
there. That's disgusting to hear from you, Faith. I had faith in you. For the longest time, I did everything you said to do. I followed you into all sorts of dangers and darkness. What has been the reward for it?
We have furthered our goal. Everything I've done has furthered us towards our goal, our plan of getting out of here.
It just sickens me. It sickens me watching you do this to other people. You need to figure something out. Or I'm going to figure something out.
Is that so?
He puts a hand on the sword hanging from his belt. Maybe I wouldn't be able to kill you. Maybe with a thought you would be able to kill me. Or maybe you'd slip, and I'd be the one to be able to take your head off. You know, I've been thinking about it. Someone like you, shouldn't be allowed to leave. This place is meant for you. It's evil and twisted and corrupting, just like you. I want you to think about it. Think about some way to save Vice. If he dies, and it's your fault, and you've done nothing, then we're gonna have a problem. And I'm sure killing me isn't gonna help you any.
Let me look at something real quick.
No, Yalmar, don't hate Bernard.
Well, that was more Renee saying that than Siam ever did.
No, there was a point where Siam's like, no, Yalmar, listen to Bernard. You shouldn't hate him.
Maybe.
He was right there with Morris and fucking Renee on that.
That was before Vice, though.
It's too late now.
Well, we'll see what happens. Don't do something you're going to regret.
As you two stare each other down in the basement room, another knock comes to the door. And Vlad, you can do what you want to do.
Hey, dude. Oh, are you two in the middle of something? I can come back at another time.
I think Siam was just leaving.
Oh, okay then. And yeah, Vlad's just gonna stroll on into the room.
Sam looks between the two of you, and then he turns and heads up the stairs.
I
What's his
bring...
problem.
Oh... He believes I'm the cause of every one of your problems, but I have a gift for you.
That's funny because I kind of have a gift for you too.
Well, birds of a feather. One
Exactly.
moment. Let me put a few finishing touches on this, and pull up exactly what that does now.
I'll go ahead and walk up to like the nearest open table
So-
and just put down the lantern on it.
What I have done, you unfortunately no longer have the ice spell. However, I did recharge your haste, and I added another spell, Finger of Death.
Ooh, what does
And-
that one do?
Well, it does a large amount of damage to an enemy, but it seems... It went in a little differently than I'm used to the spell. It functions a little differently than I'm used to, so if it kills something, I'm not entirely sure what'll happen. But it is powerful now, and I know how to recharge it.
Well, that is excellent news.
I'll hand him over the scepter.
Awesome. Is it still 3 charges of haste?
Yes.
Will it be 1 use of Finger of Death?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, one use.
Alright, cool. I'll just change that from Ice Storm to Finger of Death.
So, what is this?
This is, well, it's curious. I think I know how to save Vice.
Is that
I mean,
so?
I know that you and him are linked through magic, but I believe he may have made a deal with a darker power, and it's killing him.
Perhaps.
I found
Allow
myself...
me to give you one word of advice, if you don't mind. I'll put my hand on your shoulder and say, I know where you got that from. Do me a favor. Be careful when stealing in this town,
Well, I mean...
because people will come to me, and I don't want to have to do anything to enact their justice.
That is understandable, but this is... well,
Let's just say the owner of that and I are quite close.
oh... I mean, you know what he has in his basement, right?
Yes, I do. But he was quite instrumental in helping us liberate that city. I don't know if you've heard the tale of that or not, but another time.
Yeah, I've heard things here and there. You're not very popular around town, you know that, right?
Oh, have they forgotten their history?
Ugh, I have no clue. They seem a bit ungrateful. It was mostly the hobos, but yeah, there's some of the nobles. They're nobles.
They should recall that without me, they'd all be dead. But, well,
I'm just the messenger, friend.
I
But I was
understand.
in the alleyway, and Vice looked like he was going to die, and this guy, uh, a bit faggoty looking, stepped up and held out this lantern and said that he would take what was killing Vice out of him. But Vice, being, strong Vice, stubborn Vice, he refused. I owe him my life, and I believe he should not be allowed to refuse a cure to his condition. Because if he doesn't, he won't make the journey across the frozen land. He will die. So perhaps we borrow this for a time and then I can return it.
Very well. I think I was going to meet someone who might know how to operate that anyways. If you'd like to make a trip with me and meet someone new,
I will.
good. Well, whenever you're ready, we can make the trip up the mountain.
Ooh, I've never been to the top of a mountain.
Unless you have any other business, we can get going now. I need to have a talk with the old man anyways.
I'm ready to go when you are.
Alright.
The
I'm gonna
scepter has
start-
been renamed to Fast Finger Death. Fast.
I'm gonna start heading, taking Vlad up the mountain to see that old man, but about halfway up there, once we're good in that forested area, I'm going to, pat you on the back, Vlad, and say, Drakmund.
Ooh. And Vlad will just go blank and so is it safe?
I believe so. We should be alone.
Excellent. I've longed to stretch these limbs properly. Where are we going? Who are
There's
we
an
meeting?
There's an old man at the top of the mountain who, well, I think is going to be helpful to both me and Vice, and I wanted to. Siam has treacherous thoughts these days.
Siam, the one with the
The
silken
mask, yes.
Yes, the Shadow Runner.
Indeed. The wait, what?
It's a term not used in this world. Don't worry about it. You'll see when we move on.
Ah, very well. One of those New York things.
Perhaps. Not really. But yes.
Well, yes, he was making some threats to me. Indeed, if I did not save Vice, then he plans on trying to kill me.
That cannot be allowed to happen.
Keep an eye on him for me, would you?
I will. He's just a runner, used from going from point A to point B. A very insignificant role from where we come from.
I thought you'd see things that way. It's not that I dislike him, but, well, I'm not going to let him stand in our way.
Exactly. What good is a pawn who cannot protect the king?
I thought you should know, either way. Do you have... Can you tell what's going on when you're not active?
I
Or are you slumbering?
see some things, but I am only restricted to this arm when I choose not to be.
Ah, I see. Well,
Yes, I've observed a few curiosities. This bumbling fool finds himself in many peculiar situations. Some I would not like to be a part of, but then again, he is mortal, and they do have a certain willness.
Indeed. Only a while longer now, I do believe. As I said, at the moment, Siam wants me to release my hold on Vice, but then you would be stranded out in the wasteland when you go back, and that just won't do.
No, that cannot happen. That place is unpleasant.
Indeed.
This whole place is unpleasant.
So, as I said, I thought you should know, so you could keep an eye out, subconsciously or whatever it is, through that arm.
I will keep my sensories aligned.
Good.
Don't worry, the silver masked one. I believe that he will be easier to manage in the future.
Perhaps, but the thing about it is, do you recall Castor?
Not by name, no.
The one that your Vlad made a deal with.
Ah, contract. Yes.
They seem to be tied in some way. Castor favors Siam quite a bit.
Is that so?
Indeed.
Castor's out of the picture for the time being.
Yes, but we may need him to return to your world. I'm not entirely sure yet, but it would be convenient, and I have made something of a promise to him myself.
Tell me, how deadly is this Castor fellow? Why not just hold this Siam for when he returns?
He seems to have limitless power in this plane, but I hear in the warp he's knocked down a peg. He doesn't have the... He draws his power, it seems, directly from the Golden One, and the Golden One's presence is quite strong here.
So, potentially, if we were to bother with Siam, the Golden One would get involved directly?
Not the Golden One specifically, but Castor, yes, more than likely.
Well, perhaps we set the field properly for Castor's return. And by set the field, I mean remove a few pieces.
I don't wish to kill him, but if we need to subdue him, I think Castor should see reason to that.
This Pollux character, how many dealings have you had with him? I believe that I've
Only
fallen out
a
of favor.
handful, and I don't believe I trust him too much.
Understandable. He is an obstacle.
I don't believe he wants any of... Well, I say any of us. I don't think he wants people like you or I leaving. Well, maybe you, but not I. I could be wrong about that, though. I haven't had enough interactions to gauge where his allegiances lie, but he does seem to treat the party like toys.
Very well. Oh, this game just gets funner and funner every day.
Indeed, and we're so close to the finish line.
Well, I shall remain as vigilant as I can be.
Good. I expected that.
Well,
Was all I wanted to warn you about.
Yes.
But if you had any other questions or worries...
None at the moment. I believe this fool is ignorant of other machinations at work. That is good. I will try to keep him that way at least.
Very well.
Well, I bid you adieu, Bernard. And with that, Vlad just... Whoa. What were we talking about again?
Oh, I think we're almost there. I can't quite remember.
Whew. For a moment, I blinked and... Yeah, well.
I think you're a bit
what's this
hungover
guy,
or something.
Yeah, impossible. I didn't drink too much last night. No, I didn't drink too much.
Either way, we're almost there. He seems to know a good deal about, well, things beyond, I would say. He knew Castor by name, and he seems to know things that he shouldn't.
Okay. That could be useful. You think he could perhaps figure out what's going on with Siam? I mean, not Siam, the device?
Maybe, but we'll see what that lantern of yours can do first. He should know about the well, hopefully he knows about the lantern. I'm hoping he knows more about Castor's predicament and these coins as well. Perhaps we can use that to our advantage if he does.
I'd like to know as well because these coins are just. Well, I want to be able to do things that they can do.
Indeed.
You
It
should
can
have
be-
seen the last time one was used. It was not pretty.
I can imagine. They seem to have quite a bit of destructive force behind them.
Yeah, more like they open assholes to other dimensions that just suck. And by suck, I mean literally. I was pulled up off the ground almost a mile into the air.
Is that so? Good to know. Perhaps might be useful when we try to find Castor.
Well,
Bernard,
how
make an
much
Arcana
longer?
check.
Alrighty. Let me see what that is for Bernard. +4. Just an 11.
Bernard, your temple aches for about 15 seconds. It's a dull, throbbing pain. Something somewhere is happening, but it passes quickly. You couldn't really focus on it.
Alright.
But anyway,
Yikes.
you guys make your way up the top of the mountain. About halfway through, Bernard leads you onto a side path from the road, going into a forest. As you climb up steep hills and cliffs, you climb up to a point where seems to be some kind of tree house. A rope ladder hangs down from it, and there seems to be a small stream of smoke rising up from a chimney.
This is it? He lives in a tree?
Indeed.
That's odd. But okay.
I'll make my way up.
And Vlad as well. Vlad will as well.
Alright. You climb up, and as you open the door, you can see the room is basically unchanged. It looks basically the same exact way as when you left it. You see the old man, he's sitting there staring into a fire. He's very old, he's bald, and his eyes are sunken in. He's got his hands crossed over his chest, and he's got his head tilted down. You're not sure if he's sleeping or what.
I'll give one of the walls a good few knocks just to kind of sound our presence here.
Yes, come in.
I have returned again in need of your assistance or advice.
I get many visitors since you first came.
Is that so?
Yes. What brings you here?
A few things. I think we should start with you, Vlad.
Yes. And Vlad will go ahead and place down the lantern on the. Well, he'll just hold it out to show him. You wouldn't
Ye-
happen to know what this is, right?
He cracks an eye and looks at it and says, "Put that away from me, if you would."
Oh, sorry about that. And yeah, Vlad will kind of just hold it back a little bit.
You certainly shouldn't be having that, young man.
Well, I have it. What does it do?
It was a very evil, ancient thing, repurposed for mundane uses by a man with whims that know no allegiance but his own. He likes fun and games, and so he uses it. But it was not always like that. I don't suggest you open the shutter unless you're prepared for consequences.
Well, I watched him do it once already, but if you say so, I mean, I won't play with these things. I don't really understand the magic of this place too much.
If you want my advice, young man, I would not use it unless I was in very great need. It changes people, corrupts them, both the user and the used upon. And with the wrong word or the wrong thought, it could destroy utterly.
If it corrupts, then how would it be used to help? Because it seems as if the previous user was extending this in a time of need.
He is
Yeah,
reckless.
he held it out to one of my friends and told them he would take something but save him at the same time.
Who is this friend? Is he demonically possessed?
In a matter of speaking.
It can be used to take portions of the possessor.
Is that so?
It's not a very good process. Do you remember when I taught you how to nullify your magic, Bernard?
Yes, I do. A useful trick.
It is like that, but much more painful and permanent.
I see.
But that's only one use. Like I said, don't use it. Not unless great need is upon you.
Duly
That's a
noted.
bummer. Vlad will kind of, he's not interested anymore. So so he'll just kind of like hold it out for Bernard to take.
I'll store it in the bag of holding.
The old man gives a chuckle, and he looks at you, Bernard. You look older.
Time has passed.
Have you been busy?
Very busy, as a matter of fact, and I'm still busy. One of the reasons I came to you, actually.
What could this
Do you-
old man possibly do for you anymore?
Well, you seem to know things. And I hoped, and you also seem to be acquainted with Castor and their ilk. So I hoped that you would know what this could be used to do, or if there's a way to make it work to my will, and I'll hold the purple coin in between two fingers.
At this, he kind of opens both eyes and looks at it. Where did you get that?
Vlad here took it from Pollux, if that name rings any bells with you. I would say one of Castor's friends a few months ago, but nowadays it doesn't seem like they're on the best of terms.
Yeah, he's definitely not a friend.
Castor's gone, isn't he?
Indeed, Pollux seems to have hidden him away, and I was hoping I could find him, perhaps using this.
Things proceed according to plan, then.
Is that right?
He frowns. I would recommend against using that as well, but I think you are in great need now.
Indeed, Pollux doesn't seem to be on the best of terms with us anymore after he made a mistake and, well, from what I hear, it tried to kill our good friend here, and I'll pat Vlad on the shoulder.
Yeah, it wasn't too nice of you.
So now he's separated from that party and holds Castor captive somewhere. Likely in a different plane, from what I can gather.
And what would you do?
I was hoping they seem to use this. He seemed to use this to open the door to, well, sort of like the long room, from what I've heard, but I'm hoping I could do something similar to enter wherever Castor is and bring him back.
How many of these coins do you possess?
This one? I know Vice has one and Siam has one. 3 then? Or are there any others I'm not taking into account?
I made sure that the others went into the portal when he attempted to kill me.
3 then.
The old man bows his head for a moment. Would you care for tea? We're
But
waiting
that is
for a
not
third.
true. He could have more because I've been to his house, and he has a room where he could be making them or holding more.
Perhaps. I'm more concerned about what we have, though. And yes, some tea would be nice.
We'll talk when the last guest arrives.
Oh, you're expecting more company, are you?
One more.
Very well.
The old man, he stands up for the first time you've seen. He's got robes and he's hunched over and bent, but there's this kind of ominous shadow about him as he moves. He gives you tea and then he sits back down and he rests his head back on his chest and he just sits, eyes closed.
I'll sit and drink my tea.
Yeah, Vlad will kind of look a bit agitated or like restless, but he'll sit around looking around the room, take a sip here and there.
Damn, it's storming outside.
After about 35 minutes, you hear a voice, Bernard, something you probably didn't expect to hear. Master, are you here? Master.
Wait, whose voice is this?
Well, it takes you a second, but after a while you realize it's the sound of Hastian's voice.
What are you doing here, Hastian?
After a moment, you hear the door creaking open, and the yellow-robed kid, he steps in and he looks around. You can see there's many cuts, fresh cuts along his wrist and his neck, seemingly self-inflicted, and his eyes are sunken and his skin is pale. This one learns quickly, the old man says.
Indeed. Why have you come here? Something wrong?
He tilts his head. I called him here, the old man says.
I see. Very well. Come and sit, have some tea.
With this, the old man, he reaches into his robe, and you see he pulls out his own platinum coin with Castor's face on it, and he shows it to you.
Were you one of Castor's adventurers, then?
No, but when they first arrived, I was here to help him when no one else would.
I see.
There was a
How
time...
long ago was that?
He lifts his head up. About 250 years ago.
He hasn't seemed to age a day. Do people from his realm age differently?
No, but he is kept here like a prisoner.
I
Of
see.
course his master wouldn't let him die without being useful. He was
I see.
lost in the warp. The Golden One, as you call him. He wanted to test the gods, so he put Castor in the warp to see what he would do. And then he lost him. Maybe it
Bit
would have been a
arrogant.
mercy to let him die there instead, or wander the endless plains. But I found him. I pulled him out when no one else would.
I see. Does that mean you have an idea of where to locate him this time?
I have an idea.
I don't assume it's the warp again. That doesn't seem like Pollux's thing.
Where have you looked?
Well, I haven't yet. I was hoping to gain some clues before I go wandering blindly through teleporters and different planes, you see.
Then I would suggest you wait. Wait until the finish line is almost crossed, then find him. To do so beforehand would throw everything into disarray. Finding him too soon could prove ruinous.
In what ways? Is Pollux in... Do you know Pollux?
I have a vague idea. I sense him.
Does he have plans to stop us, then?
Stop you? From what?
Well, achieving our goal, getting the artifacts, restoring the Golden One, you know, the caster's goal, you could say.
I don't have answers like that for you.
I didn't know if you had any speculation. I wasn't sure. You seem to know a lot about the plan, or what's to come, anyways.
It is only an old man's hunch.
Let's see.
Make a insight check.
Alrighty, let's see what that roll would be.
Could I make one as well? Because I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here as like the silent observer to
Yeah,
this.
you can make one.
Just a 3. Oh, 20 isn't being kind today.
20.
Nice.
Vlad, as you're silently observing Bernard and the old man talking, he says this, and then you feel the lie in his voice. He's hiding something.
The finger on Vlad's pointer finger on his mechanical arm, which would be facing in Bernard's at least sight line, will raise ever so slightly, kind of trying to give a signal. And this is the wizard trying to signal to Bernard that something is amiss.
I see. Well, are you sure there's nothing more you could say to help us? I mean, I think we're all on the same side here. I'd like to help Castor in whatever ways I can. And I would do that much better if I knew the context behind these words.
I will say this. Your efforts will not prove in vain, but everything has a time and place. If you truly wish to win and not just survive, you have to play carefully, very carefully.
Indeed, but I'm not even sure who the enemies in this game are anymore.
Don't you? You should know by now. You've
I have
ventured far
ideas.
enough. Well, it's not my place to tell you. I will say this, and he cocks a head towards Hastian, who's just kind of sitting on a bed. He's clutching his cloak and kind of just shifting back and forth. Keep this one close at hand. He sees things, and his power will only grow. If you wish to identify the enemy, perhaps you'll see things that you can't.
Good advice. I appreciate that.
As for the other children, beware. That's all I have to
Yes.
say to you.
They are a bit demented.
Like father, like children.
You could say. Well, I suppose we won't take up any more of your time then. Actually, on my way up here, I felt something, but I'm not quite sure what. Did you feel that as well? Do you know what that was?
He gives a gesture to Hastian. This young
see.
man has figured out the teleportation circle that took 100 years of development by aged elders. And he solved it in, what was it, boy? 1 month?
Is that
Hastian,
so?
he just he gets like a twitch and looks down.
I'll pat him on the back and say, well, that's quite clever of you.
I
Well,
would keep him close, like I said. Closer the better.
Appreciated. Thank you. Once again, you have been very helpful to me. There isn't anything I could do for you, is there?
Wait until the signal comes before you free Castor from his prison.
I'll try to
Pollux,
keep an out for it.
as you say, this Pollux plays a bigger game than you.
I had a hunch.
And
Appreciated.
be careful. Maybe not in this world, but the next.
As always.
Your children, well, try to be a good father to them.
As always.
I'll keep this coin for when it's needed. And he tucks it back into his robe.
Very well. You wouldn't happen to know any way to... I know that with the blood of I'm not sure what to call them. Hjalmar's people. Do you remember Hjalmar?
Yes, they
The
are.
blood. His blood seemed to have an effect on these coins, these purple ones. They turned them platinum, as a matter of fact, I believe.
Let
That
me
is what happened.
hang on. Let me pull up the. I gotta remember what they're. Yeah, that's it. His people are called the Valione. That's what they were named after the Golden One's designs.
I see. The Valione?
Yes, and their island is Valion.
Valione. Good to know. You wouldn't happen to know what the connection between that and the coin is, would you? Is there a way we could use that to our advantage?
The connection is the dragon.
I assumed as much. I was wondering, however.
How
If the...
much faith are you willing to put into his power? For that is what you're calling upon when you use the coins. You cannot corrupt it from him. He is power. To use these coins is to call upon him, and it is a dangerous business if he doesn't want it to be so.
Those coins, I point towards where the pocket where he put his coin away. But these, are they truly good? Are they truly connected to the golden one? They seem different. Like another entity controls these.
There's only one you could ask to answer that question, isn't there?
Perhaps. Well, keep that in mind.
Be careful. You're playing with powers that are too big for you.
I'll flick the coin and catch it, store it in my pocket and say, I'll keep that in mind. That was very enlightening. Well then, anything else, Vlad?
No, I believe that. I mean, all I really wanted to know about was the lantern. But if that's going to be useless, then oh well.
Useless?
Well, to our predicament, I wouldn't want to let any more bad into the world at the moment.
Perhaps you should try asking the one who knows it best, instead of stealing like a common thief.
He's a weirdo. I mean, Bernard here knows him.
Weirdo. He looks around the room at all of you, and then he just laughs and then rests his head back down.
Hey, I'm not a weirdo. I just can't keep my hands to myself. Okay, I find myself in this place on the accident.
Well, I believe we should be off then. Come along, Hastian.
Hastian just stands up, looks around the room, and then looks to you and goes back out the door.
I'll head back down to the inn.
When you come down to the bottom of the ladder, Hastian looks up and then to you, and he kind of twitches and says, Master, who are you talking to?
Excuse me, you didn't see him? The old man, of course.
Hastian doesn't say anything.
Why, was he... What did you see?
Nothing. It's black in there.
Interesting. Thank you
Vlad's
for
a little
sharing.
confused. Vlad was seeing the old man as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this guy all there?
Yes, you heard what he said. Perhaps it's linked to the Longhouse in some way. A visage. Unsure. Hang on. Well, actually, he said he helped. He said he helped Castor 200 years ago. Perhaps it's a spirit. Either way, we got some answers.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we came up here for answers and we got some.
Better than what we came up with. So, back down to the inn.
As you're walking along, Vlad, Hastian, he kind of totters up beside you and looks at the lamp. What is that?
These. Well, Vlad doesn't have the anymore. He gave it to Bernard, and Bernard put
Oh,
it in the bag of holding.
okay. Never mind then. You head down to the inn and you find Renee's there. She looks up as you enter. I saw Lane in the room. What happened?
You remember how she was taken a while back?
My God, what did they do to her?
He put a part of himself in her, it seems.
She's cold. It's like there's no heat left in her body.
I'm aware. I'm working on it. There's
What
a
are you
lot
going
of
to do
things to...
now?
Well, I need to go and have a talk with Mephisto. I need to get you lot properly geared out before you head back. From there, I'm not sure. I had a talk with the old man up the mountain. Seems our best course of action is actually to wait and hold off on trying to gather Castor back. I think Pollux is up to more than we originally anticipated.
What does that mean? We need to find Castor.
I'm well aware we need to find Castor, but I was given some interesting information that suggested that getting him too early could lead to disastrous results. I don't think Pollux would appreciate us getting him just now, and as much as I dislike saying it, I think we need to stay well out of his radar for now.
I don't understand anything.
It is becoming more confusing, yes.
She just slumps in a chair, and then she looks up. Who is that?
Oh, this is Hastian. One of my new apprentices.
She blinks multiple times. Uh, oh God, I have to leave. Actually, I'm sorry. And she stands up, and she looks like she's about to retch before she steps out the door. Hastine just kind of stares after her with blank fish eyes.
Yeah, Vlad's just sitting there by the bar drinking. You know,
Yeah,
she
I'm gonna.
like says your name while she's sleeping, right? He's looking forward. He's not even looking at Bernard. He just says it, drinks, says it.
Excuse me. I'm looking for bandages at the moment. Yeah, I'll find some bandages somewhere in the inn and patch Hastian up, I guess.
Yeah, he's got you can tell if you think about it for a little bit.
Yeah,
He
I got.
he poured a good deal of blood into a magic circle repeatedly trying to figure out how to make it work. And you're not sure if it was his effort or maybe some kind of outward influence, but he managed to find his way to you.
Well,
Take that as you will.
a good effort. I'm impressed. But typically, you want to give yourself some breaks in between these attempts. It can be quite draining if you catch my meaning.
I didn't pass out, so I kept going.
Yes, well, passing out is going a bit farther than too far.
I don't
Lose
want
too
to
much.
stay in the cave with the twins.
That's fair enough. That's fine, because I believe you'll be with me from now on.
You. He's very expressionless, but he kind of gets a twinkle in his eye as you say that. Can you
So,
teach me more?
I can. Tomorrow we'll start. For now, I think you need to get some food in you and rest.
Oh,
Pushing yourself too far won't help you learn, it'll help you hurt yourself more.
I don't care about that.
Well, you should. It'll inhibit your learning. A night's sleep and a full belly inhibits growth in both the mind and body. So, if you want to learn, you'll have to learn properly. When Trash Man arrives, tell him to give you something to eat, and you'll get a room upstairs.
Hmm. He kind of looks up around the tavern, and you see his eyes kind of focus on one part of the ceiling. Is there two masters?
Not quite. That's another predicament I need to deal with.
Oh. He'll sit at the bar. He's kind of shaking from blood loss, but he's expressionless and he's just sitting there staring at the wall.
Vlad's gonna look over and kind of reach over the bar and just take a bottle and here, have some of this. This should fix you right up, friend. Just pour Hastian off a drink.
He takes it with shaky hands, and you can see some of the liquid spill over the edges. He takes a sip of it, and then kind of just... he starts choking on it, puts it back down.
It takes some getting used to, but I find that in situations like this, it seems to calm the shakes a little bit.
Well, what time of day is it?
It's probably morningish.
Trash man should be in for his shift soon. When he gets here, tell him that I said to give you a good hearty meal of food, then go up and get some rest. This evening, if I feel like you're up to it, we can start on some short lessons, and then tomorrow we'll get into it.
Yes, master.
Good. So, Vlad, I think we need to go into town for a bit.
Alrighty then. And Vlad will gonna go ahead and just finish the rest of his drink, put it down, hop up. He's ready to go.
I'm gonna head to Mephisto's.
Oh boy.
Alright. You enter into the city, and you can see the guards. One of the guards at the doors, at the gate, he looks at you and says, "Ah, good morning, Mr. Tarrington. It's been some time."
Bernard will smile and nod and say, good morning. Yes, I've been awfully busy at the mine and, well, other places. I've been traveling around a bit.
Well,
How are things in the city?
good. Your mine has made us very wealthy, sir. Many of us are very grateful for you.
That was the idea, hoping to bring Barboza upwards and onwards. You know how it is.
The Duke has been very pleased. Let me get the gate for you.
Oh, thank you, good man.
The gates slide open, and you see the bustling streets, the morning of Barboza's, the people going about their businesses. Children are playing in the streets, and it's a far cry from the dark elf besieged city that you first saw. It's actually kind of cheerful for everything that you've seen lately. It's a bit refreshing.
That was a completely different interaction from what I was seeing and hearing yesterday. That's good,
so.
I guess.
As I said, it seems like not everyone's forgotten their history and what I've done. My business seems to have made this place quite prosperous.
Yeah, like I said, it was the hobos and the nobles. I mean, they're pretty much the same type. One squats in a fancier area than the other.
You seem to have a firm grasp on it. That's exactly what I learned when I arrived here at first as well, and that's how I got my grasp into this city. Come along then, we need to make a stop by Mephisto's and see if he can't help us with this.
I don't know if I should be going back in that place.
I think it would be better for you if you go in with me than to let him catch you again on his own.
Well, if he is an associate of yours, perhaps he'll understand.
Yes, I wouldn't want him to catch you in the city at night, alone. As long as he knows you're with me, it should all blow over.
You are talking and you move through the maze-like streets, Bernard. You know the shortest way, so you head there. You can see that the sign, there's lights on through the door window, but the sign says closed.
I'll just give it a few knocks and say, Mephisto, are you there?
Yes, one moment.
Very well.
After about a minute, a shirtless Mephisto with his hair all in like a rustle. It looks like he just woke up. He's got a toothbrush hanging out of his mouth. He opens the door. His eyes go wide. Bernard! Oh, it's been months.
It has been quite some time. I've become a busy man as of late.
And this is... Ah,
Vladimir, yes. An associate of
Vladimir.
mine.
Oh.
Hello. I'm
Hi.
glad.
He gives you a big smile and he cracks the door open for you to come in.
We'll head in.
What do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Well, I'll pull out the lamp and say, returning an object of yours and hoping you could explain it to me a bit.
He gives an audible sigh of relief as he sees it. Oh, thank God.
So sorry. It was for a good reason. I hope you can understand.
You have sticky fingers?
I planned to bring it back. I saw you in the alleyway with one of my friends, and you said that you could help him, and
Oh, you
I wanted to be the
saw
one to
that,
help
did you? That's funny. Usually I can go unseen when I want to. I also have sticky fingers occasionally.
It's a condition.
Yeah.
His is more like an infliction, I do believe.
I'm sorry for your issue, Scar. Gives you a wink. But he comes over and he takes the lamp.
Rod shudders when he winks at him.
He sets his toothbrush down on the table and he holds it up. You didn't use it, did you?
No, we were told that corrupts people. I'm surprised.
Well, you can't corrupt the corrupted.
I suppose. I also heard that it does some nasty things to whatever may hold possession over people. You weren't planning on hurting me with that, were you?
Is that your doing then? That
Perhaps.
soldier in the alley coughing up blood, sweating, seeing things?
Perhaps.
Well,
Not
if I knew
entirely
it
sure
was
if
you,
it's-
I might not have tried it. But
Not entirely sure if it's my doing or whatever's in that arm of his, but it was all for a good cause at the end of the day.
well, you know I can't just
Sure,
let
it's
someone
you.
suffer when I am within reach.
Vlad's gonna interject. I'm pretty sure it's the arm. Every time he uses it, he just gets worse.
Perhaps.
What about the arm?
Well, in Talabheim, when me and Yalmars put down a demon and it, well, dropped that funny soul gem, soul orb.
Oh,
I had it.
Bernard. You didn't.
I did.
Oh, that
It made for a quite powerful weapon.
is downright dirty, Bernard.
Well, have you seen what that arm of his can do?
No.
Vlad's a little befuddled and it can blow holes through anything.
It's like a mobile cannon.
You did that to him, Bernard?
Well, I didn't know it was going to do that. It was a weapon. He needed something.
Hmm.
That
You
is
didn't see him without it. The man got his arm chopped off. He needed something to help fight back. And with
I-
Yalmar going crazy, I thought we need him to have that.
I love it.
I guess it's understandable.
That is hilarious. Well, I guess I'm glad that he didn't do it then, because it might have hurt you.
Well, is there anything it can do to lessen that? Whatever he's going through.
Now that I have my lamp back, I can think of one or two things. Would you be willing to fight what's killing him?
What way? What do you mean fight?
Well,
Like,
I was going
literally?
to draw it out from him. Chaos is a funny thing. When you see it in the real world, it manifests itself in blood and bile and mutation. But it also affects the mind. Somewhere deep in that unfortunate man's mind, there are demons. Like a possession, just waiting to come out. And I think he has more than one inside him. I think it would be hard to remove the influence entirely, but I thought, well, I could give him a fighting chance.
I see.
Could be dangerous, though. You may run into your own influence if that's your doing. And any power that you might have put into him, well, let's just say that cutting the wrong wire could lead to a big boom.
I see. That is quite dangerous then.
Yes, and that's only if you know how to use this properly. I've seen, well, I've caused a few malfunctions myself. You remember back when I helped you with the whole Killia incident, right?
I do.
That was just releasing some of the stored up energy I've gathered over the years in their direction. Most things can't handle that. But it also draws things in, which is what I was going to do. If there's a permanent piece of you in that young man, or that, I guess he's not young. If there's a permanent piece of you in him, then I would have had it. And I can't say that I dislike the prospect.
Well, I suppose I'll have to thank him for refusing that later. That could have been quite uncomfortable. No offense.
Oh, well. Fun and games.
Well then, perhaps in the next coming days I'll send him over and we'll see what we can do.
You and this one. You're a magic user, aren't you?
Yes, I can manipulate a few things. Why do you ask?
It would have to be you then. You two would probably have to go in. Anyone else unaccustomed to these type of things wouldn't be able to handle it. You're lucky you didn't use it.
Well, I don't always use things that I don't know how they work, and I've found that in this land, magic is not always the ally of people.
This land? You mean Astalia?
Yes, Astalia.
It is a quite different here. They use their own forms of magic, quite different from the Empire. How is everything over there, by the way? I hear some interesting things. Have you met my sister?
Well, I didn't. But Vlad here has.
How was she?
You'd have to remind me.
In the mansion, where they first met you.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's actually quite friendly. I didn't know that was your sister.
Well, she's a bit more stuck up than I am. I left home because they disapproved of some of my life choices. I suppose my sister's taken over now.
Yeah, her and I are very close friends.
Good. She needs more friends. So then.
He's talking about Katarine, right?
Negative.
Who's he talking
When the
about?
very first time you were introduced, after the Battle of Altdorf, the rest of the party ran away to Mephisto's sister's mansion.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where you were hanging out because you were on your way to Altdorf.
Yep, that's right.
Well,
Is there something I can get you? Are you hungry?
Not for what you served here. I think if we are concluding our business, I will go elsewhere. This place makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Bernard will stick around for a bit, catch up, you know the deal.
Yeah. He looks at you kind of seriously and says, "So what's the deal with that one?"
Oh, another one wrapped into contracts. Another one of the party now.
Well, unfortunate for him.
Perhaps. Might turn out prosperous at the end of it.
Right. Is there anything you want to talk about, or do you just catching up with him?
Pretty much catching up. So I need to do some planning before we trying to get everything straightened out before we do the see what we can do for Vice.
All right.
Yeah, Vlad's gonna go and head out, and he's gonna actually head back to the hotel where he saw Vice go into. He's gonna try and find Vice.
He's probably around. If it's still morning. Depending on how he may be eating. Yeah.
You're free to do as you please. Just let me know what you want to do.
Yeah, Vlad's just heading to the hotel.
The hotel, since you have a room, they admit you with no problem. Typically, you're not allowed in and out in the early mornings.
Mhm.
You see Siam, he's eating breakfast in the restaurant. Wherever Vice is up to him.
Yeah,
he's,
Vlad's gonna go
Gonna
up
be
to
eating
Siam.
breakfast as well at some or
He
somewhere.
looks up at you. What's up, Vlad?
So, I mean, are you alright? You seemed pretty angry when I walked in. I hope I wasn't interrupting anything serious.
He shakes his head at you. It's probably for the best that you came. I'm finding my patience running thin.
Well, I'm always here if you want to talk about things, brother. No. As I heard earlier, birds of a feather.
What do you think of Bernard?
He's not too evil. I mean, I just found out that he's the reason why Vice is how he is, and I mean,
you say
at first,
not
I
too
just-
evil after finding that out?
Well, I mean, he said that Vice put a demon soul in his arm, so I mean, you've seen the demons here.
Vlad,
Why would you do that?
he kind of rubs his temple. Here, Vlad, let me give you a brief history of Bernard Tarrington. When we first met him, he was trapped in a demon's cave, inexplicably. He said he was part of a adventuring party, but I'm starting to disbelieve that story. We freed him, and shortly after, we came and did all this Barboza nonsense. There was a magister here named Barsilius, and they came at odds at each other, and Bernard came out on top. When we finished that, we went over to Bretonia. There was a knight there. They got into an argument, and the result was Bernard created a huge slime monster that stretched out over the entire country, killed millions of people, Vlad.
I'm sure it was an accident, though. I mean, magic is pretty hard to contain. I'm sure you've felt I'm constantly exuding heat. If I don't focus on that, this whole place will go up in flames. Just poof, like that. Magic is hard to control, friend.
So
I
is
think you're being
Vice
a little
an
too
accident
hard,
too? That
Well,
wasn't an accident. He took a man. He possessed him. Went around with him, wearing his skin. Killed him. It was only by luck that Vice is still alive at all. And then, he lost an arm to the same knight in Bretonia who went to chaos because of Bernard. That knight took Vice's arm, and what does Bernard do? He took a demon soul, stuck it into a weapon, and put that on Vice. Not 5 months later, and we are seeing the result of that. He's sick every day, coughing up blood and bile. He's dying, and there's nothing I could do to help him. You're so willing to be lenient on people like Bernard. Maybe it's something I'm never gonna understand, because I don't know how to use magic. But I would never want to, after seeing what it's capable of. The destruction of Altdorf, the destruction of Bretonia, Castor, Pollux, the Golden One. All of this is... it's wrong. It shouldn't be like this. What scares me the most is if Bernard gets out. Even if I go home, someone like that is going to be running around. And who knows what kind of power or ability he's going to have then.
I guess I just have a bit more forgiveness or understanding.
This place has taken it out of me.
I don't remember much of where we come from, but with my memories, they're all dark. I mean, my earliest thing I can remember is when I was a child, I killed my whole family on accident. Like I said, I have to focus on controlling this dark fire I was born with. And if I don't control it, then yes, bad things happen, but does that make me irredeemable? I'm not sure. I just believe that if he's trying to help us move forward and out of this place, then can we really say that he's a bad guy?
Something in me says that if he's the one getting out, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe it's a bad idea. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't have sight, or magical powers, or reading minds, or flying. I don't know. I'm just a man. From a normal man's point of view, it seems evil to me.
Well, evil does come in all shapes and forms around here, I'm beginning to realize. I don't know, I trust him. He has the key to moving forward. And I don't like this place. I do want to leave.
Well, you're a more forgiving type than I am. What did you two talk about?
Well, last night I may have stolen something from, well, one of your guys' friends, I guess. And we just gave it back.
You gave something back?
Well, I mean, it's scary. I don't understand how the magic in this place works. It's more chaotic. And the item I stole, well, Vice hasn't been doing so good at all. And I may have came across a conversation between him and the individual, and the individual presented an item and claimed that it could remove the evil from him. And well, I wanted to help our friend, but it turns out the item is, well, it's not honest.
Well, at least you're trying to help, Vice. Where is he, by the way?
That's what I came to find out. Last I seen him, he looked half dead.
He may be up in his room.
Well, let's wait then. I wouldn't want to disturb him and raise his ire any further. What you eating? And Vlad's just gonna sit down and kind of pull the bowl across, or the plate across to him from in front of Siam and check it out.
Right.
Yeah, Vice will come down eventually. He's just gonna grab something dry and head outside. Some kind of like dried meat or something.
Okay.
Oh, speak of the devil, there he is. And Vlad's gonna grab a handful of whatever's on the plate, push it back towards Siam, and hop up and chase after Vice.
Siam's gonna come too.
All right. He'll
Hey, where are you going, buddy? You're looking a bit brighter today.
Not
Is he
too
looking
bad.
brighter? Is he looking better?
Yeah, he'll probably better than yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
Not doing too bad today. Well, I'll take a walk around,
Yeah, let's go
Wait.
for it.
waiting on some armor, some cloaks to be finished.
How long until that's done?
Couple more days now.
Well, that's fine.
Needed-
I could use a vacation.
Needed something warm. It's freezing up there.
Yeah, where's the other one? Perhaps she should get something warm too. She's been a little too clingy.
I haven't seen her.
Well, the last I saw, she was leaving the tavern, and I have no clue where she went from there.
The city used to be her home, so she probably has somewhere else to go.
Is that right? Probably then. She knows her way around. She'll be fine. Oh, do you need something?
No, just keeping an eye on you. I happen to well, I mean, you know how I am. I witnessed your exchange with that queer fellow last night, and uh, I want to tell you before anybody else does. I stole that lamp he showed to you, and well, it turns out you didn't want that.
Are you talking about Mephisto?
Yeah, the one with the silly hair. He has the sex dungeon underneath his place.
Vlad, that's a Slanesh worshipper.
That's that's what they mean by Slanesh.
Slanesh is the god of sex and vice and evil.
Excuse me?
Right.
Does-
Well,
does they
vice
work
with a
too?
V-I-C-E. He's a degenerate god, and they prey on rape and sex and
Yes,
pleasure.
the things I saw down there last night were, well, I don't regret stealing from him, if that's what you're getting at. I mean, I don't regret stealing from anybody.
I'm not
If I'm
saying
able
that.
to
I'm
take
just
your shit,
letting
then
you know that he's not what he seems to be.
so he's like a demon?
Maybe.
Gross. Well, Bernard's kind of handling that situation right now, but from what I heard, Vice, you didn't want what he was offering.
That's why I didn't take it.
Well, we're trying to help. We'll figure this out.
Well, do what you think you gotta do.
So this place is like kind of up and down, I've noticed. I heard that there was a big battle and he was infested by more Renees.
More Renee's. Renee's actually pretty different. If you've never met a dark elf, they're demented. They enjoy killing and raping and pillaging. As far as I heard, Renee was actually raised by humans.
What is with the theme of rape around here?
Well,
This
that's the
place is
kind of
pretty,
world we're in. Pray you never have to meet the dark elves. They're disgusting.
No. I've never seen an elf with skin like that, but okay. I pray I don't. Clearly, the pink ones are evil. Why is everything evil pink and purple here? Isn't that like a girly woohoo color?
Kind of fits. Bernard's not exactly the most masculine. And Mephisto certainly isn't.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could have been mistaken. I saw him hop in a few piles while I was.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
man.
hear that.
What?
Not your kind of place. Who knows? Well, actually, maybe it is your kind of place.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Speaking of, why did you put the demon in your arm?
Better
Well,
question is, why don't you take it off?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Why don't you take it off? Like, leave it off. We'll get you a new arm. I mean, I told you I'd give you mine.
we've had this conversation. What am I gonna do? You've seen what this thing can do. It saved our lives.
It has, many times.
That's the kind of power we need right now.
Yeah, it saved our lives, but at the same time, it's taking yours.
Well,
I mean, I'll never knock a good helping hand, but if it's gonna be.
Cyan looks at his arms and then looks at the two of you.
well, I said, I need it. Maybe it's killing me. Maybe. But without it, what am I gonna do?
What if
Can't
you
swing
just-
this thing around with one arm.
Yeah, but what if you just like carried it in a bag and then put it on only when you needed to?
It takes time.
It is soon on there pretty good. Bolts and nuts and all that.
Besides that, something springs out on us. What am I gonna do? Pull out my dagger and jump on him? With one arm, it's gonna be a bit difficult. I had a hell of a time before I had the arm, using a damn axe. And even then, I was gimped. Couldn't hardly climb. Couldn't hardly do nothing. Something was on me. I had to drop whatever I was holding to try and get it off me.
Just concerned about you, that's all.
I've
I
been
get
having
that.
a thought lately. I know neither of you want to hear this, but Pollux uses a different magic than what Bernard and Mephisto and all them use. If he's telling the truth, and he really wants us to get to the end of the game, as he says, why not see if he can do something?
Not sure if that's an option anymore, friend. I mean,
Even if it was, after all the times he's tried to kill us, after what he did to Vlad and you, that's what we're gonna do?
Vlad brings that upon himself.
well, he was.
He hasn't been
probably-
exactly the most inviting fellow we've ever met.
I'm not
Yes.
saying he has. I agree with you. He's a bastard. I'm not arguing that.
And regardless, he locked away your friend. From what I've heard, Castor cares quite a bit about you. So, I mean, shouldn't that be? Is that fueling not?
Not only locked him away, held us hostage.
Exactly. He's not the one that we want on our side. I think.
Sam
Sounds to
frowns
me
and
like
crosses his
Castor
arms.
is the one that we need.
Has Bernard said anything about that?
Yes, actually, about that, it seems that we have, well, we can't retrieve Castor until the time is right, apparently. There seems to be some steps in place that if we go through with that, it perhaps would be detrimental to the world.
How could that be?
Well, I don't quite understand. Well, it was boring magic talk. And I mean, yes, I'm magic, but yeah. The theory of it, no. Not my bag. Perhaps if we ask Bernard, he can lay out a plan that will be more solid for us to follow. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Well, makes sense that he's hanging around with Mephisto. Everybody wants to see him to gobble his nuts lately. I should probably go talk to Mephisto myself. See what he knows about the whole business.
Think you were into that?
Yeah, you can go over there if you want. I don't think I will ever step a foot back in that place.
Whatever.
Hey, Better warning, Bernard's there right now, so uh uh well, never mind. I mean, you're an adult.
What, you think I get your fair warning, Vlad. I'm not scared of Bernard, though.
Well, no, it seemed like you were ready to lob his head off before I walked in.
I don't want to, but something's gotta give. You know, something has to change. Bernard's not... He's very good at bringing people onto his side. For the longest time, I was like that. And then you see what he does. I've already explained it to you, I'm not going to go back into it. But
Well, I mean, if you've had such a problem with him, wasn't the big guy at one point trying to stop him or something? Why didn't you? Well, why didn't you help him? I mean, it's redundant now. Apparently, he's back on our side.
what exactly would I have
Flying around
done? You weren't there for Altdorf. The situation was different then. We had to get the artifact. And Balthazar Gelt was a bigger problem than Bernard at that point.
It seems he still might be a problem, or at least that's from what I hear.
I don't know too much about it. You know, Balthazar Gelt actually had a hand in making Bernard.
Really?
So I've heard.
So, like, how does that work?
He shrugged at you. I don't know the
You like his
specifics.
dad?
I don't think so.
That'd be fitting.
I'm not sure, actually. I don't know. Maybe that's something you could ask him yourself.
Yeah, perhaps he'd be more willing to tell me than you guys. Haha.
You're buddy-buddy with him now?
I mean, we're not the enemies. We're both magic, and magic kind of seems to stick together in this place. A lot better than people without magic.
Whatever. He flicks you off, and then he's gonna look around and say, I don't know. I'm gonna go talk to who I can talk to. What are you guys gonna do?
Well, not sure yet. Maybe poke around the docks a bit. Heard there was
Yeah.
some kind of strange, I don't know, militia?
The Crucible, you mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Those guys are those guys are wound a bit tight, if you ask me.
I see
Oh,
what
you want to
that's
talk
all
about
about.
magic keeping together? You want me to tell you the funny story of Monsamard?
Who's that?
He was an old traveling friend of ours.
I'll be back in 1 sec.
He got kidnapped. Well, taken into the warp. Came back out and then... Well, he was with us. And he betrayed Bernard at the very end. They had a battle and he was cast back into the warp. Talk about magic sticking together. The Chaos Gods are always in it for themselves.
This Montemart fellow, he was magic too?
He was more of a warrior, but after he came back out of the warp, he had strange powers.
That's one thing I don't understand. What is this warp exactly? I understand that the chaos demons, they come from there. Is it another country? Another
From what I
place?
understand, it's another plane of existence, like some kind of hell.
Oh, it's one of those type of deals.
Yeah, it's a place you never want to find yourself in.
That doesn't sound too pleasant.
One
What happened to this Monsemart character now?
One
Where's
second.
he?
Well, last I saw him, he was being sucked into some portal underneath the city here. I don't know. I think Bernard mentioned he showed back up in Altdorf, but I was busy in Gelt's factory, so I wasn't there.
Let's hope he doesn't come around again.
Yes, less.
Well, I will keep an eye on Vice. If you said you're going to visit the weirdo.
Maybe. I'm thinking about it.
Well, you don't have to worry about me stealing anything. The sun's out and I can't really do anything while the sun is shining. Unfortunately. So, I guess today is just a day of leisure and not having to worry about my ass getting chewed.
What? Your ass getting chewed, what?
By demons.
Oh.
Or
Sorry, I
monsters.
heard you visited Mephisto's place.
No, that place was not pleasant. That was an accident. I was trying to. Well, my only intention in going there was to steal that lamp. And, well, it was sitting right in front of his face, and I panicked and went with the flow.
Sounds like you got more than you bargained for.
Yes, there was a lot of very aggressive people down there. I had to sit in the corner just to feel safe.
I heard Bernard had an interesting encounter down there before.
Oh, so he has been down there. I thought he had.
Him and Mephisto are very close.
Well, if Bernard's into that sort of thing, then okay.
So, what are you gonna do then?
Well, I think I was just going to hang around with you.
If you want. Don't have too much going on. Waiting
Not
on my
too
armor
much.
to be finished so we can keep moving.
Yeah,
Gonna
not
head
too
over,
much
I
can
suppose,
do,
see what
though.
the Crucible's up to. See
I'm
what their
curious.
deal is.
I'm curious. I kind of had a run-in with one of them yesterday, but yeah, hopefully I can apologize.
What'd you do?
Yeah, and Noble came out and he was shit-talking. I shit-talked back, and well, it seems that they can't handle it.
I see. Well, we'll see what's going on over there anyways.
Yeah. I don't have too much terribly planned for this session besides whatever you guys are gonna do. So, do you just let me know? I'm willing to do any time skips, or if you want to fuck around with some stuff, you do what you want to do. But anyway,
Vlad doesn't have too much in particular. He doesn't really have any side goals. He just steals shit here and there. And
yeah.
that's kind of what he does. He's a burglar.
A burglar?
And so it was that Bilbo Baggins. Don't remind me of hobbits.
Rider.
Vlad, your dreams are haunted by hobbits. Millions of hobbits always stealing your shit. You try to steal things, but the hobbits steal it from you.
Singing songs.
Singing songs and playing on lutes.
Dancing around.
You wake up in a cold sweat every night.
Not the hairy feet.
Hey, for the bath at the end of the day. Oh, man.
I'll be right back, though. I'm gonna go grab something upstairs.
Alright. Yeah, I suppose Vice is just gonna check out the Crucible for now and see kind of what they're about.
Okay.
Just see what he sees.
Yeah, as you're moving through the harbor, you see in the center of it, there's a big statue of a tall, proud-looking man. He's got a large mace hanging from his side, and he's standing there overlooking one of the. It looks like it used to be a warehouse, but it's been kind of outfitted with defenses and battlements. You see engraved at the bottom of the statue, Monsamar Durelian, hero of Barboza. Seems fairly recent. Put up maybe like less than a year ago. At the warehouse, which I'm going to start calling the barracks, you can see that it's adorned with the symbol of the crucible, which I forget what that was, and the armor that the men inside are wearing is slightly different. They seem to be some kind of specialized or customized unit. Their captain is a 30-something-year-old man. He's got a goatee and a slight 9 o'clock shadow. His hair is kind of rustled, and you can see he's a veteran of many battles. He's got terrible scars all along his neck and arms, and his eyes are a bit sunken in, but he's tall and proud and drilling new recruits.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright.
If Vlad would have followed Vice to the crucible.
This Vice will watch him for a minute and he kind of see what, kind of gauge, actually, hang on, I've got something for this. Now that I think about it. Know your enemy. Study a creature for a minute outside of combat to learn about its capability. So, Vice will just kind of lean up against like a wall or building and kind of watch that guy drill and kind of size him up. Kind of see what he's about.
You sense a lot of fortitude in Ray. He's definitely seen a lot. Like you've seen more, but he's seen a lot of combat, and his eyes kind of have that stony gaze that are used to seeing horrors and abominations. He's definitely seen some things.
That was Monsamart's right-hand man right there.
How old is he?
About 30.
30.
That guy, Ray was the one with the noble. No, that was Bran.
That was
correct?
Bran. Bran was he was a young officer that served with Barsilius, and while he never really got in your way, there were a couple of times where he would kind of assist Barsilius with harassing the party. He never really did anything overtly offensive, though.
No, it was Ray who was kind of Monsamart's.
Ray was the one who went
man.
with you into the orc battle, and then after that, he was established the Crucible captain, and then he and Renee were the two that went down into the final dungeon of Barboza with Monsamard and Bernard, and he was there to see Monsamard become the abomination and sucked into the warp.
Yep.
So you can imagine what seeing the statue every day probably does to his psyche.
Yep.
Yeah, Vice eventually, after kind of sizing them up, will walk up and ask, "So, Crucible, huh? What's that all about?"
And well, he turns to you and he looks you up and down. He says, "A soldier, huh? Are you looking
Used to
to
be.
enlist?"
Not particularly. I've got my own contracts at the moment. Just curious. Haven't been here before.
We're something like Barboza's special forces. We fight enemies that come down from the mountains and across the sea that normal soldiers would quail at. You could call us monster hunters.
Is that right?
At least that's what we are now. It was our unit that sailed across to fight in the Battle of Barak Var, to which Bernard put an end to that. Now we stay here and defend the walls and the outlying fields. The skies grow darker and monsters are more common. I've even heard tell of strange things coming in from the east, across the Bretonnian border.
Got your work cut out for you then.
You could say that, but it's a good living. It's much honor. And, well, he gestures to the statue. We could be considered the highest honor of the city, although sometimes it's hard to feel that way.
Makes you say that? I haven't had much work recently.
He hesitates and then kind of realizes what he's saying and then shakes his head. No, there's no shortage of work. Forget what I said. We're proud soldiers and we do it well. There's always monsters to take care of around here.
Vice just shrugged. Sure, if you say so.
And who are you?
Vice.
You seem like an old campaigner.
Been around for a bit, yeah. Used to work out of the Empire a bit in my younger days.
What brings you to Astalia?
Rest for now. I'll have some work up north soon.
Up north.
Way up north. In the, gonna be a nasty trek, I do imagine.
Well, if you mean the Bretonian lands, I wish you luck. We don't go there anymore.
Not quite. Shit. Let's see. Actually, been heading up to Norska.
Kinda looks surprised at this and he says, are you hoping to find a ship to take you there? Because you're gonna be hard pressed to find a sailor to brave the waters nowadays.
No, we've got our own means of passage, but speak of fighting monsters, nasty things up there from what I hear.
Nasty things all over the world.
Aye.
He leans into you and he says, there are reports of green men coming out of Bretonia.
Green men?
Aye, and not orcs. They're see-through. They take the visages of men, but they're not. They're some kind of abomination. Nobody knows where they came from. Not many people know about it here, but their numbers are growing, and they seem to be pouring over the borders.
Have you seen any of them?
I haven't. Most men, well, I have one lad who said he's seen one. They're terrible things. Weapons seem to not affect them too much. And they have strange powers over lightning. It's an altogether disturbing rumor.
Talking about things with lightning. Should have seen the things that Gelt's been making up in the Empire.
That's hardly our business down here in Astalia.
No, not yet. So I did a bit of fighting there recently too. Things are gone mad up there.
Whole world's gone mad.
I could say that again.
What word do you have from the east?
Well, I ain't looking too great last I saw. Civil war, mostly.
We've
Gelt
heard
betrayed the Emperor. Gelt's making all kinds of nasty monsters over there.
We'd heard rumor of that. It's unfortunate and almost makes me wish we had Barsilius back. The new Magister doesn't spend too much time around here anymore.
I'd heard a bit about that. You really wanted that, huh? I heard that there was quite a bit of dark elves around your city around the time he was doing his thing.
I'm not saying he was a good thing, but we could surely use that power looking over the city now.
Maybe.
These are dark times. People are speaking of the end. The city is prosperous and safe enough, but many of the soldiers wonder how long that'll last. especially things that we've seen in Barak Bar. Have you heard of the Great Steel Whale?
Yeah, I thinketh too about it, yeah.
It's out there in the seas.
I
Everyone in the
believe it.
city saw it. It could fire green blasts of energy that could rip up mountains. These are dark times indeed. Normal men, well, they feel powerless.
Well, dark times, aye, indeed. But, well, much we can do about it these days. Except tend to our own, do what we gotta do.
An all too common sentiment. But I
Aye.
agree. We have our families, and our men, and our livelihoods. Barboza is safe for now. Such is all we can do.
Reckon I'll get out of your hair then. Got plenty of training to do. Just thought I'd see what you're all about.
He nods to you. Good day, traveler, then. Be safe.
Safe as I can be, I suppose.
Till
Vice is gonna head back to the inn outside the city near the mines after that little encounter.
Yeah, Vlad will go ahead and follow along also. He was just, while Vice was doing that, just standing off to the side, looking for shortcuts into this place.
as you leave, you see there's a wagon led by a horse, and you can see there's a sprawled out drunken man in not too clean clothes, and he looks up and he says, oh, hey, it's Vice and Vlad. Hey, you're about to catch the wagon to the tavern. Hop in, boys." And it's Trash Man. He's holding a bottle, waving it around. There's a man tending the wagon. He was about to take off before he sees you. Wait! Those two gonna hop on.
Right. I'll hop on.
He gives you a lift over the crow's claw. When you arrive, he stands up and tries to step off, but he just kind of face plants into the dirt. Who put the earth here? And then
Vlad's gonna kind of lean over to Vice. This guy is supposed to be like an employee of Bernard?
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Strange company. Think I'd let him run anything.
he teeters and totters over to the Storm's Crow, or the Storm
Claw.
Claw of Keeps. The Keep of Claws. And you push in, and you can see there's a couple of travelers around. And he looks around and he says, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And the guy's like, "The door was unlocked." "Oh. Well, you better not have stolen something or I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, Vlad's gonna walk in after Trashman. Well, I mean, these people have been here since the morning. It's now like afternoon. You were supposed to be here for the morning shift, correct? Is Hastian still sitting at the bar?
Hastian, yeah, he's still just kind of, he's in the same exact position you left him. he's sitting
Yeah.
at the bar staring at a wall.
Vlad's gonna say, get that guy a lot of like good hearty food and get back to work. Boss says so.
You're not
Then
my boss.
Vlad's gonna kind of walk off towards Hastian again. Hey,
Goddamn
friend.
uppity fucking northerners trying to boss me around, acting like I ain't. You know, if I quit, I'd have more time off. It's not like I'd do anything anyway. What do you want to eat? Boy, I said, what do you want to eat? He reaches up and he kind of lightly slaps Hastian on the face. Boy! This one's retarded. Alright.
Vlad's gonna tap him on the shoulder. Hastian?
Kind of looks
You
over
there?
at you. What?
Oh, yeah. Vlad's gonna look over the trash bin. He wants the stew. He said. He said that you're deaf. You can't hear him.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. And he'll duck back into the kitchen. What the fuck are you doing sleeping in my kitchen? You look around and you can see Vice and Vlad. There's a couple of men in armor. There's I don't remember their names, but the storm men from long ago. They're kind of sitting in a corner, drinking and eating, just hanging out.
I just deleted them from Yalmar's known list.
They don't need names.
Yeah.
I remember at least one of them was Chatafin.
Chatafin, Althmar, and some other guys.
It hardly matters.
Yeah.
They're arguing about the state of the world. I do say indubitably, yeah. and drinking and eating. A couple of more travelers just kind of hanging out, resting their horses, going in and out of the city. You see a couple of miners from Bernard's mines. They come out here to relax. Hastian gets his meal and he's just kind of picking at it.
Vice will grab some food and just sit at a table, start to eat, get a couple drinks.
Yeah, Vlad's gonna head on down to Bernard's little workshop area. The room that he first walked into.
It's not so much a workshop. It's more like as you come in, would the chalice be down here, Bernard?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure would.
So you come in and it's a smaller room. It's circular. At the center dais, there's a stone slab that kind of just sticks up, circular. And in the middle of that, there's a golden chalice. And as you come down, there seems to be some kind of purple liquid that just sits in it. The room is faintly lit by candles.
Yeah. For a moment, Vlad is not Vlad anymore. He is now the wizard. Very interesting. I didn't get to look around here earlier. And he's gonna point he's gonna point with his metal arm, making finger guns type deal. And he's just gonna go pew, and a little camera thing is gonna shoot up into the corner, into a dark corner of the room. So
you can do that.
Has eyes. Dude, who knows what this arm does?
Oh, so we're just making shit up now? All right. Sure.
It's literally the tip of his pinky. It'll be the tip of his pinky finger is now gone from that mechanical arm.
Fine. Your pinky finger is a camera. Why not? Sure.
Wizard knows, but Vlad doesn't.
A little flying drone pops off from your pinky finger, and you send it into a dark corner of the room.
Just for insurance sake, I would like to keep eyes where I need them. Well, back upstairs, you dull idiot. And then he'll march out the room and back upstairs. That was weird. Why did I even go in there? Vlad's just gonna come back out to the room and sit down next to Hastian again and try and get him to drink some more. You should really drink this while you're eating. It just helps the food go down easier.
Why don't I feel you from here?
Well, because I'm not from here.
No.
I'm from the same place as, how to explain? The guy with the mask, the silver mask, Siam, you know him?
Gives you a blank look.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not from here. I'm from another place. At another time. How did you end up here? And I mean, what are you exactly? You don't look fully human.
I am Hastian.
Well, Hastian, nice to meet you. I am Vlad.
He stares at you.
I feel like we are going to be great friends. Tell me, Hastian, have you ever been with a woman?
I don't understand.
It's great. Perhaps when you're finished eating and you rest a bit, I can take you along somewhere.
I'm not tired.
Well, I mean, Bernard told you to rest. Don't you need it?
He shakes his head at you.
Even better then. Finish that bowl. We'll go find a woman for you. I swear you'll be a different man afterwards.
Do you have power?
Well, to a degree, yes.
Can you teach me?
Yeah, what do you want to learn?
What power do you have?
I can make fire, I can make shadows. Ooh, I can move through the shadows. So get this. Shadows, the regular people, it's just, a shadow. It's just darkness. It's a empty space. But what if I told you that there was a world inside of shadows?
Is that true?
To me, it is.
Can you show me?
Yeah, it's easy. It's no problem at all. You just step in and think about where you're going, and woof, there you go. When it gets a bit darker, I can show you a few examples. It's very useful. Just between you and me. And Vlad's gonna like pat the scepter that's on his back and the torch that's on his hip. I stole these through the shadows.
You
But don't tell anybody. That's between you and me.
you take power?
I take objects. I already have power.
I want power.
Well, I mean, power is for taking.
Power is for taking.
Yeah. But if you already have power, then you don't need to take it.
Bernard was not always as he was.
He wasn't.
Power
No,
is
okay.
taken.
Yes. Yes. See, you pick up on things. I told you we was going to be great friends.
Please teach me. I want to move through shadow.
Then finish that bowl and we will begin.
He takes a bite and then he kind of just pushes it back, and for the first time you see him stand up and he's got a glint in his eye.
Come
he
on,
seems energetic.
Let's go find a nice dark area.
He just says nothing and goes and follows you.
The mine is like a bit of ways away from here, right?
Yeah, it's in the mountains. Take you like on foot, like an hour or two. There are horses though.
Yeah, I've heard about Bernard's mine. I think that would be the excellent place. And plus, while we're at it, we can kind of mess with the miners. It's always fun.
Fun.
Yes, fun. You know what fun is, right?
He tilts a head at you.
Ah, the day is young. We can teach you a lot. Come along. Ooh, let's take those for beginning. See, like earlier, power is for taking. The power of mobility is not moving with yourself, but moving on things. See, mount up.
I've never ridden a horse.
It's easy. I mean, I've never ridden one either, but it's easy. Come on.
He just kind of tries it. And you
Vlad,
see that
it takes Vlad a second to feel comfortable on the saddle as well.
Yeah, Vlad, you notice he has an aptitude for things. When he tries things, he's not uncomfortable. He just does it like a robot.
You learn very quickly. That's good. Come on, this way.
He said he kind of trails off and follows you.
Yeah, and we'll kind of gallop off towards the mine.
Okay. So, Who wants to do what? Do you want to continue doing that, or is there anything else you guys want to do? What's up?
Vice is just gonna go outside and just start, like, get some wood and just start carving with his knife.
Yeah, Vice, you see Vlad lead Hastian away and then mount up on a horse and ride off in a minute.
Mhm. Bernard's still in Barboza, probably still talking to Fisto.
As you're doing that, the door cracks open and you see Siam and Renee step in.
Well, there's some interesting faces I didn't expect to see here. Welcome.
Oh my. You don't come around here often, Siam. And Renee! It's been so long. Hello, Mephisto. Renee sighs and just rolls her eyes. Bernard's here too, I see.
Of course.
We heard from Vlad that you had some way to help Vice, and we wanted to hear about it. Kind of glances at you, Bernard.
Well,
It's
think it would be-
complicated.
Better if he explained it, yes.
Look, it's really nice that you want to help your friend, you two. But it's more for people like Bernard to handle. If you try to go in where? If you try to help Vice, you might find it uncomfortable. It's hard to explain. I don't think it's something that you should worry about.
we can just put it bluntly to them. It will kill you.
Siam crosses his arms. How many times have I heard that before? We've been through enough. I think we can handle it. What is it?
I'll just look at Mephisto.
Kind of frowns and says, I'm willing to put one more in. No more. Nobody would be able to handle that. Putting people inside the mind is as bad as taking them out sometimes. Vice might not be the same person he was. What does that mean? So he lifts up the lamp. Using this, I could put you inside of Vice. It'd be like a projection of your psyches inside him. You could go and try to fight off some of the things that are killing him, and that might buy him some time. Siam kind of frowns at this and says, "You're kidding me." No, I'm not. This is
Are
how
you really
things
going
work.
to doubt it after everything we've been through and seen?
I don't doubt it, I just think... He sighs and says, I did ask you to find some way to help him, didn't I?
Indeed.
I'm loath to leave it to you. But I don't think I want to try to put Vice in danger by putting myself in there like that. I'm not magic. And he glances over at Renee. Renee's just kind of biting her lip. What do you think, Bernard?
Well, you do have an aptitude for it. I need to consider it. I have... Well, if you're willing to bring in a third... May do well to bring Hastian or Lane along.
Who are they?
My
Oh, I met the
apprentices.
little girl. Lane, yeah. Is she strong enough for that?
Probably not at the moment. She's been through quite an ordeal.
You were telling me that Deus fellow, right? Took her?
Yes.
And something about him putting himself inside her like that?
Yes, actually. What do you think about that lamp for that purpose?
That could be dangerous in one so small, but I can't say that the idea doesn't interest me. Could be
We'll have to-
fascinating.
We'll think on it. Perhaps a bit more diagnosis are required before we commit to an idea, but it is a thought.
He looks up at the two of them. Your clothes are disgusting. Siam and Renee, you just look at them, and it's true. They've kind of just been wearing the same armor and clothes for like the last like year.
They do
Siam,
need
since we
some.
met him. Siam's been in the same thing since we met him.
They do need some warm weather gear. They are heading to Norska and beyond.
Oh my. Norska. Wow.
Across the Kraken Sea, to be more specific.
Can't say I know anything about that.
It's
But
very cold up there.
I think I could help you out. How about I take your measurements, Siam? Siam blanches at this.
Would you rather cling to Vlad some more?
Gotta get that inseam measurement correct.
The crotch has to be tight but firm. Renee just crosses her arms. Mephisto, don't tease him. I'm sorry, it's just... he's so cute when he's flustered. Oh god. Can you make something quick? I think we only have 3 days or so. Of course, dear. Here, I'll take your measurements now. And Mephisto jumps up with eagerness and takes Siam and Renee aside to... like, they're still in the same room, they're just in front of a couple mirrors, and Mephisto busts out the measurement tapes and starts asking them questions. You made that armor for Bernard, didn't you? Yes, I
Indeed, he
did.
did.
It's quite nice, isn't it? So could you make something like that for us? Not unless you have some kind of magical items already with you. I don't produce magic. I take magic and repurpose it. I don't want any of the magic that you make. Oh, of course you don't. But all the same, it's useful, isn't it? I hear what Vice is able to do. Well, Vice is a different sort. Oh, I'm sure. Mephisto, takes their measurements, takes down their information, looks over at you. I think I'll just put this on your tab. Is that okay?
Sure. Feel free.
When that's finished, Siam and Renee comes over and looks at you and says, "What are you planning on doing, Bernard,
In what regard?
while we're here?"
I don't know. Like I said, I've been doing a bit of planning. I suppose my plans have been a bit snuffed now that I know I can't go and get Castor right away.
Well, that doesn't stop you from finding him, does it?
Well, I'm not quite sure where to begin. It's the thing.
How many places could he possibly be? Have you tried the
Well-
Longhouse?
I'm not quite sure how to get to the Longhouse without Castor or a red door. Though from what I've heard, it seemed to be heavily implied by Pollux that he wasn't quite on this realm of existence. I don't think he would put him in the warp, so somewhere else perhaps?
That's over my head. I have no idea.
I'm not quite sure myself yet. More
No, I-
research will be needed.
Listen. About that yellow cloaked kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say this. He frightens me.
He's not a bad sort.
I,
He sees things.
I just get bad feelings when I look at him.
I understand.
Ooh. Sounds like somebody I want to meet.
Perhaps soon. But, well, you have to understand. I needed a new apprentice, with Yalmar and everything, and Lane being taken.
Oh, so he's one of your creations then.
Of a sort, yes.
That's good. Exactly what we need. I'm gonna head back to the hotel, Renee. Alright.
Well, oh, do what you will. As I said, as if you care. I needed something to combat Yalmar, but that's no longer an issue, it seems.
I'm really glad about that. I'm glad you two could bury the hatchet.
It is quite nice. I never wanted that fight in the first place.
I can't imagine how things would have gone if that had kept up.
Not sure.
Well... What?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
I'm gonna head back and try to see what I can do for Lane.
Yes, I'd appreciate that, though I'm not quite sure what to do about her yet. I'm not sure.
I had a look under her clothes just to see what kind of wound she might have. She has a hole in her back,
A hole.
about the size of a fist, and it's black on the inside.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know. It's I'm surprised she's still alive, to be honest with you.
Well, I suppose I should head back too then and give that a look. I figured I'd let her rest before I did any poking around, but found that. Better now than never.
She
Well, I
nods
hate
to you.
Cut things short, Mephisto, but I'll be around a few more days anyways.
Of course, and 3 days time, I should have some warm weather gear for you, Renee. Keep up that smile for me. Renee just kind of gives him a sideways look and then turns and leaves with you. Second. Alright.
So as I'm walking back with Renee, you remember those coins I had made for Lane, or that I made for Lane?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose she doesn't need those anymore. Considering. So what I'm going to do is while we're walking, say, so I'm going to hand her Renee the match to that coin and say, keep this on hand.
What's this, a Bernard coin?
You could call it that, I suppose. It doesn't do anything fancy like Castor's, but if you give it a squeeze, my match warms up. I gave it to Lane, but it didn't quite do her as much good as I'd hoped. So, if you guys are in a bind, this will be sort of a warning to me.
Can't you just see through Vice, Bernard?
I can, but going into his mind might mess things up a bit. And if he were to die, well, we have backup now.
Hmm.
And you seem to have an aptitude for the teleportation circles, so if something happens, you'll have a way to notify me.
Yeah, I don't like making those, but
Well,
oh well.
like I was telling Siam earlier, when he wants me to cut my ties with Vice, And if something happens and that does end up happening while we're trying to do whatever it is we're doing to him, I don't want to use the word fix because that implies we can. We'll see what happens. I can't promise anything, but if something goes on in there and my ties with him are severed, you'll have a way to notify me, and you have a way to come back so you don't freeze in the tundra wasteland.
Well, I appreciate it. I hardly need to tell you this, but Mephisto, he's loyal to himself, you know that? He thinks this is all a big game. He kind of reminds me of Pollux in a way.
Sort of, but he has been much more helpful than Pollux has. If it weren't for him, we'd all be dead.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if the same could be said of Pollux, though.
Maybe, but he's not quite as forward with it, if that's the case.
It makes me nervous. Like he
He's
could come
playing
back at
his-
any time.
Yes, he's playing his own game, and I think that his goals are his own, and I don't really think we're part of them.
Well, either way, and she flips the coin and then tucks it into a pocket. I'll keep the Bernard coin safe.
Just a precaution. And try to talk to Siam for me. I don't want him doing anything funny when the time comes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he flat out told me that he has thoughts of killing me. And I'd hate for something to happen right at the end here when we're ready to leave.
I can try talking to him. He's not gonna listen to me.
No pressure, just see what you can do. I don't dislike him.
I just don't want you people to kill each other. You and Yalmar, and then you and Siam.
As I said, I don't want any of this infighting. I'm here for the party at the end of the day. Everything I've done has been to further our goals and keep us safe.
Yeah, I know. I'll see what I can do.
That's all I ask.
You talk and make your way back to the Crow's Claw.
Crow's
The
Claw.
claw, the Crow Claw of Storms.
Oh man.
I'm gonna get the Song of Storms from Final Fantasy and play that every time.
That's only on top of the mountain.
Yeah, we're never going back there.
Notice how Yalmar just went right past it. He flew right overhead.
This fucking place.
They got a twinkle in their eyes for a second. They're like, oh.
Is Daddy home?
I feel relevant. Wait, no, come back.
Meanwhile, they're like Yalmar's Z fighters. They all started off as Yamcha, and now they're fucking Krillins.
Well, at least Krillin
Such
was
a
there. It's more like they started off as Krillins and became Yamcha.
Damn, they went downwards. Damn.
Well, where else can you go from, being not useful to not even appearing?
Oh man.
I don't even remember their names anymore, man. I just remember Chadathan, the man who should not be.
I wrote them off because it became a gag. It wasn't intended to be a gag, but it became a gag.
I don't know, man. You held a UFC tournament to see who you would fucking train to be your fucking lightning warrior.
I held a a Barboza martial arts tournament.
Yeah, it really brought the breast and brightest from all over the world.
Yep. And then I got Chadathan.
Whatever, man.
It's whatever.
Yeah. Once we get back to the end, we'll go and see. Bernard wants to see what that hole's all about.
Yeah, Renee leads you in. You can see Lane. She's got her eyes open and she's kind of just staring up at the ceiling. Renee comes in and says, "Lane, how are you feeling?" Renee, I'm okay. My head hurts. That's alright. You're just a bit malnourished right now. We'll get you some food. I need to show Bernard something, and she kinda... You see Lane try to push herself off, and she says, Mr. Tarrington, but then she kinda just weakly falls back onto the bed.
It's alright. Just stay there.
Lane, turn around. Let me show him your back again. And she does so, and Renee lifts up the shirt, and you can see between her shoulder blades there is a fist-sized hole. It's pure black, and it kind of just sits on her, like between her shoulder blades. Like I said, you can't see anything inside. It's not like the light's not illuminating anything. It's literally just a black pitch hole in the center of her back.
Yeah, Bernard's gonna try and decipher what spell, because seems clearly magical to him, what might have, or what invocation might have caused this.
You can make an Arcana check.
Alright. Just a 12. Let's see.
It's Bernard, this is a different kind of magic than you've ever seen. It kind of radiates energy, and you feel like it's Lane's energy, kind of it seems like a hole that kind of leads into a deep well. You're not sure how deep the well goes, but you can feel it behind there, like a building power, some kind of energy that just builds and grows and tumults like a storm.
So Bernard knows that Day has put his own energy in her.
Right.
Bernard can telepathically speak to things. I'm going to try a little trick here. I'm going to see if I can't... I'm going to try to like connect with the energy in that hole and see if anything else is in there that is not Lane, I guess. I'm just getting a little experimental here. I don't know if this is going to do anything or not.
Well, I'm going to need a bullshit roll for that.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Because that's bullshit.
18 and 20.
19.
I want to roll Arcana to check something out. Low roll. Bullshit roll. High.
Every time, dude.
Every fucking time.
Well, he made the Arcana roll to try to figure out what it was without doing this.
Yep.
But now he's like, hey, I'm going to throw myself in there.
Yep. Why the fuck not?
Fucking
bullshit.
The thing is, though, I also have a neat trick called Mind Shield. My mind can't be read, and I have resistance to psychic damage, and psychic damage is reflected.
Ooh, that is juicy.
So I have like a natural aptitude to this kind of thing.
Bernard, you sit on the edge of the bed and you focus on this source of energy that you're feeling. You try to put yourself in there, but suddenly you find yourself strapped to a chair. You seem to be in some kind of vision or memory. You have cold...
Does it remind me of that time I witnessed myself being created?
Negative. You're strapped into a chair, and you can see in front of you for rows and rows, and just flashing visions. These visions only last for a few seconds. But there seem to be people or elves or something. Just rows of them. There must be 100 just in this room. And they all seem to be strapped in similar to you, but you're sitting on the high seat, a larger machine. And you can see hoses and different bits of machinery and metal all around the room. Lights flickering. And then you hear it. All these people are screaming. They're screaming in agony and pain.
I'll ask one more question. Do you remember how I found out how to make that weird black shield
like that they had around not Marienburg, Barrack Var?
Yeah.
Does it remind me of that?
Yes.
All right, that's where I was. That's what I figured.
You're looking through the eyes of someone else, and then you realize that you're screaming as well. And then the vision kind of just ejects you. You start, and you open your eyes back up, and you're back in the room with Renee. You look up, or you reach up, and you can feel beads of sweat are dropping down from your forehead.
I see. I have an idea on where to start with this now.
What is it?
Well, he's used this sort of. Let's speak outside.
Alright. Lane
I'll,
stands up, and Renee stands up, and she says, Lane, I'm gonna go get you some food. Just wait here for a minute, okay? Lane just lays back down. And then you step outside into the hall.
When I went to Barrack Var to help liberate that city. Actually, do you remember when we encountered that lich in Talabheim? Do you recall the barrier around that little village?
Yeah.
In Barrack Var, Deus and his lot used a technique to create something identical to that. They had strapped magic users in and attached these devices into their brain. I believe it harvested, Bernard figured out how to, he kind of studied how to do that, but he kind of gives her the rundown and says, it seems to, from what I've gathered, it kind of turns them into a sort of conduit for power. I believe that
My
this...
God, they turned into like a battery of some sort?
Sort of. I believe a similar technique may have been used here. I'm not sure if that pertains to Deus or not, that hole. But my working theory at the moment is that Deus made those sacrifices, or perhaps they're still alive serving as the conduit for energy, and that perhaps gave him enough strength to separate part of his soul and tie it to Lane here.
Renee her face goes pale and she looks sick. If I get my hands on that Deus, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Yes. I'm going to see if I can't find a way to reverse this. I'm sure I have found some books at some point in time when I first met with the party that I've never gone through. I'm going to see if they hold any information, and if not, then I'm going to be meeting with Hjalmar. And we are going to get information from Balthazar Gelt.
You're gonna fight him?
Perhaps. Either way, there's a lot of books there, a lot of knowledge. Something somewhere has to have more information about this, and perhaps the other things we're looking for as well.
You
So I
told me
think-
about that Pantagruel thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big machine.
Yes, the size of a city. The dwarves were working on it, and then the Dark Elves got a hold of it.
I don't like this. It sounds bigger than I thought.
Yes,
Poor girl. I can't imagine what she was through.
I can't either, but with a little luck, perhaps we can reverse the effects. As I said, I'll see if I have the information on hand, and if not, well, the colleges may have something for us. Besides, I think it's about time to get Moors back.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, in that case, let me know what I can do to help.
I think the best thing for you to do would be to stay with the party and help with the relic.
I can't say I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, it's going to be rough, but I think you're all almost there. From what I could tell, you're almost to the Kraken Sea. From there, you cross, and well, hopefully there's not too much farther to the relic.
Okay.
I think Gelt would be best left to me and Hjalmar because, well, it wouldn't be great for one of you to be turned to gold at a little glance. At least I can dispel magic for a time, and Hjalmar, well, gold seems to be his affinity, so perhaps it won't have as much of an effect on him.
She nods to you and says, "Alright, we'll work on getting the artifact."
With a little luck, perhaps Morris will be joining you for that one.
It would
But
be
for
good to see
now-
him again. If
for
you
now-
wanted to win Cyan
Go
back
ahead.
to your side, getting Moors back would definitely be a start.
Well, I had planned on getting him back from the start. Well, I should have seen a trap coming, but I was a bit distracted at the moment.
Nobody's blaming you for that. Moors made his own choice. We all did.
Well, let's get Trash Man to tend to her, and I need to go and pore over a few tomes that I've been neglecting for some time now.
Renee,
You
go ahead.
you recall those books when we were fighting I think they were beholders when I first met up with the party?
Yeah.
I grabbed a few books from there, and I've never really touched them until now. I'm going to see what they have for me.
Wow. The secret plot books, full of plot and knowledge.
Oh, if they don't have anything, like I said, if they don't have anything, the college will have something for me, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's got to be a lot of foreboding knowledge there.
Turns out one of them's the Dungeon Master Guide.
Like, oh, what's this?
Oh, it's my novel journal. It's
It's a book called Dungeons and Dragons? What?
Why is my character sheet in here?
What the hell?
Oh my god.
So,
Bernard gains the power to just spawn anything from the DMG.
he gains a new ability. It's called Meta.
Yeah,
Meta
so just the lucky feat.
Apparently, just the lucky.
You get a level 9 spell that lets you become DM for a session.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll save that one.
Oh boy.
I'm forced to become Siam.
The island will be a wild journey if that happens.
The wild, wild west, indeed.
God help us all. That would be an interesting little spell, wouldn't it?
That would be fucking wacko nuts.
Fuck it. Anyway.
So yeah, Bernard's basically gonna tell Trashman, hey, check in on her every like half hour. Make sure she's got what she needs.
Alright, boss, I'll do that.
Good. And then Bernard's going to go to a room. He's
Hey.
gonna check in with Lane first.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Then he's gonna go to a room and lock himself in there for a while and start reading. through
Right
those
as you're
books.
going down your steps, you hear Trash Man. Hey, boss, I'm not sure it matters, but that funny Vlad fella, he took your boy and went somewhere.
Did he?
Yeah.
Very well. Before I get to studying, then I'll go and find them. I thought he was resting.
Nah, I brought him some food and then Vlad took him out.
Thank you. That's good to know.
No problem, boss.
So I'll go check on Lane first, and I guess I'll go look for Vlad and gang, or well, Astian.
Okay. Yeah, Vlad, you took Hastian
I'm gonna
up
use the
here
bathroom while you're doing that.
out to the mines, showing him.
And so I says to her, there's no way that's going to fit. And it did!
It
Can
fit.
you believe that, Hastian? And that's how I learned you never underestimate a dwarf and what they can change their bodies to fit inside of them. It's
That's
amazing.
Interesting.
Oh,
And you
here we are.
see, as you talk to him, Vlad, you're the first person you think to ever talk to Hastian this way. So
Probably am.
as you're joking with him and telling him these stories, he actually becomes more conversational as time goes on, and you can tell he's just kind of copying you and the way you
Oh,
talk, but he's
he's gonna be a
also
black
talking to
hole.
you.
Oh,
He
if
looks.
only I could teach him how to steal shit.
He says there are twins that I live with. I suppose they're my brother and sister. Bernard
Wait,
made them too.
Bernard made? So he's your dad? Jeez, how old is that guy? I never would have put it past him. Well, good for him. How about your mom? Where's she?
Father. I don't have a mom.
You don't have a mom?
I don't remember anything.
Yeah,
I
it's
woke
here
up
nor there.
and
You know,
Bernard made me.
well, yeah, your life could be worse. You could have been made by like I don't know, like some demon or something.
I live
Well,
with the twins. I don't like them though. They
the
smell
twins.
bad.
I don't think I've met the twins yet.
They don't know how to teleport like I do.
And maybe they'll learn someday. You know, people learn at different speeds. You can't always judge a book by its cover, or you know.
There's Dagon, and I suppose he's like my brother now. But they're more like brother and sister than I am to them. He's a lot like Bernard. He likes talking like Bernard, and he can shift his face around. That's something I have been working on. But his sister, all she does is scream and cry and yell. I don't like them very much.
Yeah, they sound kind of boring. What I'm about to teach you is way cooler than shifting your face, my friend. I mean, imagine shifting where you stand. Yes, way more useful than changing a face.
Please teach me.
Oh, the cave's right here. Why don't we go right on in?
As you
Is
pass,
the
you
ogre still outside of it?
there's actually three just kind of milling around the
Oh
forest, but
yeah,
you
three of
two, I imagine you two are just like so fucking unnoticeable. Like you just kind of just pass through, and plus, people travel to this mine all the time.
them.
So
Glad strolls right on in.
as you're entering through, you pass through a shantytown village of miners and other workers. One of the shacks by the mouth of the cave actually gives off this pale green light. It's like the wood itself is melting, and there seems to be like a flashes of light from the inside every now and then. It's been added onto, and now it's like it started out as a small shack, but now there's like a slightly bigger warehouse kind of just strapped onto the back of it, made out of boards and wood and iron.
Oh, they're very busy out here. Cool, I'd stay away from that stuff. That doesn't nothing that glows green like that is anything good, Hastian. Just remember that. Stay away from
Hastian
that stuff.
blinks at it. They're making weapons.
Oh, well, seems like Bernard's more on top of things than I thought. Come on, we'll go find him. We'll go find a nice dark corner, perhaps a few
Yeah.
unsuspecting miners to mess with.
It's definitely not hard to find a unlit part of the cave. Most of the area, there's like a main road in this cavern that kind of branches off in different directions. To the to the front and to a path to the right, there are torches, but the left side seems to be a abandoned mine that kind of just it's got a rope like across it, but there's no light down there.
Okay, this is fine. Just right over here. Let's stand here for a second. And I'm gonna like look down the lit tunnel a bit more. Is there like a passerby or like a worker like
Yeah,
working?
every now and then somebody will pass by the main. I mean, this is the main entrance of the mine, so you'll see somebody coming by every now and then.
Okay, see that guy right there walking? Watch this. And I'm gonna spend a sorcery point to cast darkness. I've been reading more about the darkness spell, and it says I can attach it to things to like become a shadow. Like I can actually like make it form a shadow. It doesn't always have to be like that massive fucking 15 foot or yeah, 15 foot radius darkness. So I'm gonna attach it to like a spot where that passerby's shadow will be next. Like it'll be a pre-made shadow on the floor. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back away into the shadows of the tunnel that we're standing in, and then I'm just going to appear in that shadow directly behind that person. I'm just going to attempt to like lift something off their belt without them noticing.
Alright, make a sleight of hand check with advantage.
All right. Boop, 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 boop. Oh wait, let me make sure. All right. Oof, 13.
I'll
With
make a-
advantage?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the advantage. 21. There we go.
Alright. You're lucky the guy rolled a nat 19.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You-
I'll do
you
that.
form the
Like I'll
shadow
literally
and-
just, I'll just literally like raise up out of the shadow behind him, pluck something off of his belt, and then just sink back down in the shadow, back to where I was next to Hastian.
Yeah, you do so, and the man, like, he whirls around, is like, what? Oh, damn wind. And he, wait, is there wind in caves? I should ask the dwarf. And then he goes and he just lumbers out. And
See,
Hastian, he's like standing there, he's like, wow.
it's easy peasy, you know? Shadows are the ultimate mode of transportation, in my opinion. The shadow world is infinite once you step into it. It's amazing.
How do you do that?
Well, like this. And I'll just like back into the wall and then appear behind Hastian on the opposite end. It's as simple as that. I don't know how else to explain it. To me, like I said, I don't see a shadow. I see another world. And this world has access to anywhere else a shadow might appear.
You see Hastian just stare into the darkness as he's like, his face is blank, but you can see his eyes kind of just twitching back and forth as he thinks.
I'll like flick a coin up with my thumb towards the opposite wall and then fade back into the shadow and then catch it, just my arm reaching through the shadow of that wall and pull it back through the wall behind him again. It's that easy, my friend.
Hastian steps forward and he slowly sinks his hand into the darkness. And he pulls it back out again and just does this a couple of times. And he like looks down at his hand and tilts his head.
The trick is believing that there is a world inside these shadows. That's the real trick. Once you can see that, then you can go anywhere, my friend.
A world inside shadow.
Yes.
I'm gonna make a roll.
Hastian does a bullshit roll.
He tries this multiple times, but he just can't seem to get it right. Like he sticks his hand in a few times and pulls it back out, like looking at the other wall, and he actually steps into it, and then you just hear a bonk, and then he's like, I hit the wall.
It's okay, my friend. It takes practice. Perhaps if you had a goal. Let's walk for a bit further. And we'll go down this dark tunnel a bit.
Bernard,
Fear not, my friend. Stay near me. I can see perfectly.
Bernard, you come back and you make your way to the mines. It's probably been a while since you've been here. You can see that the addition has been made to the warp shack, as we'll call it. And he's still in there. He's still going at it. The one of the trolls spots you as you come in and gives you a big wave. The miners, they'll
a wave
stop.
back.
Yeah, the miners will stop and they'll look at you and you hear lots of, hello, Mr. Tarrington, and welcome back, Mr. Tarrington.
Afternoon. Good to see you. Hard
Well,
at work as always.
Yes, sir. Foreman's in the right caves working on some steel.
I knew I made a good choice with him. Quite prosperous these days. I'm sure you all are making quite a handsome penny out here.
Our families are well taken care of in the city, sir. Thank you very
That's-
much.
Oh, I'm always glad to hear that. So, as I enter the mine, once I get away from prying eyes, Bernard's going to use, just for funsies, Bernard's going to use his, Master of Myriad Forms to body morph into Pollux.
Alright. Vlad, uh, Bernard, you do as you will. Vlad, you lead Hastian further into the caves. What are you doing?
See, the deeper the darkness, the bigger the world becomes, my friend. And when we're at a period where, like, I don't know if Hastian has dark vision or anything, but Vlad does 120 feet of it. So darkness to him is kind of a feeling and not a perception or not a sight thing. It's a feeling thing. If you understand what I mean, because I can see through darkness regardless. Darkness just
You know that it's there.
yeah, it's a feeling thing. Ah, this spot right here. This is optimal right here. This is as dark as it gets, my friend. And here, the whole world is open to me. The whole, I call it the shadow plane, the shadow realm. It's accessible everywhere. I could go into the floor, come from the ceiling, go from the ceiling into the wall. I can travel anywhere I wish, so long as I can see it.
Can you take me there?
Well, let us see if you are able to go. The darkness has to choose you as well, my friend.
I take power.
Up into. Yes, you remember, friend. You take it. I'll put my hand on his shoulder and remember, like, walk backwards into the shadows and see if he'll be able to come along with me.
Oh, that's a net 19. All right, Vlad, as you grab Hastian and you walk slowly back into the shadows with him, you see in the darkness Hastian's eyes glint and they light up slightly. You pull him back, and then with your hand on his shoulder, you get the sense that the darkness actually rejects Hastian. Like it doesn't want him the way that he is so natural to you, but through
Okay.
some kind of force of will or magic or something, Hastian actually forces his way through the shadow with you, and as you pass through the wall, it rejects him, but then he forces his way in through anyway, and you pass into the shadowed plane that you're describing. Hastian drops back, and like with your hand on his shoulder, his head whips around, and he's looking around.
Yeah, if he can see, Vlad no longer looks like Vlad in the Shadow Realm. He looks more like the Witch King from, like, Lord of the Rings, like a Nazgul or like a Witch King. Just a shroud with a crown. That's the wizard. The wizard is the only reason why Vlad can access the shadows in reality.
Hastian turns and looks at you, and then he
Yeah.
starts laughing. It's a cold, hollow laugh.
Ah, you've made it into the shadows. We're in a world that Bernard can no longer see into, Hastian. You followed me, forced your way in. Tell me, what are you exactly? What did Bernard create?
He blinks at you a few times. I take power.
Yes, taking is something that is fun, is it not?
I want more. Please teach me.
You will be taught in time. You are not my pupil, though. Huh, funny. I think we have a guest. And with that, the wizard will eject Hastian from the shadows and Vlad along with him.
Hastian, unexpecting this, he drops face first onto the stones of the mines. And he's like face down, and he slowly starts pushing himself up, looking around.
Stay behind me, Hastian. This one has returned. And yeah, the wizard is gonna kind of like push Hastian to like the side against the wall. Stay there, and he'll kind of creep up the back up the tunnel towards the direction that Pollux is perceived to be coming from. Could I possibly attempt to roll stealth? I guess, or am I just hidden? Is it shadows?
I mean, I see straight through shadows, magical
You
or
see through
otherwise.
illusions. Yeah, anything
And
you do probably
illusions.
would, unless you jump into the shadow world. He probably can see you.
Yeah, well, that's how the wizard travels when he's in control. And shadows and elements like that, he's gonna walk through his own realm.
So I guess no then. If you're in the shadow plane, I'm not sure that that's something that Bernard can see into.
The wizard will step out behind Bernard / Pollux and subtle cast power word stun.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
DC 18.
let
Constitution.
let me look at some magic stuff because I'm wondering, even if it's subtle cast, I'm wondering if I can still counterspell it.
Well, subtle cast just means I don't expend verbal or semantic. That's all. Yeah. So it's literally a silent casting. It just happens.
Yeah, when I feel the magic trying to come over me, I'm gonna try and counterspell it.
What spell level is power word stun?
8, I think.
8. Yep.
Damn, 17. So what saving rolls that?
DC 18 Constitution save.
14.
You are now stunned.
It's all right.
So, you found me yet again. I thought I did away with you last time, Pollux. You will not escape this time.
Let me look at stuff.
Any last words?
Let me look at something quick. Okay. Bernard's gonna stay silent for now. Let me see. When do I make saving throws for power word stun?
Oh, it's at the end of each of your turns.
Oh, okay.
No last words then. Well, fine. A new friend has given me this, and I think I'm going to give it to you now. I'm going to pull out the scepter of the fast fingering. That's what I've called it. And I will, I'm going to fucking...
Theoretically, I'd get another save before that, wouldn't I?
If
Yeah.
you're stunned, do you? Do you if you're
At
stunned?
the end of my
though?
turn.
The end of your turns.
Oh, yeah, at the end of your turn, yeah.
20.
Ooh.
So that
Indeed.
you broke it.
Yep.
As he's pulling out the finger or the fist of death.
No, it's fast fingering.
The death of fisting.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with finger of death, I guess.
Oh, it's his. No, it's your
That's the
turn.
end of my turn.
Yeah, on my turn. I mean, I guess I'm hitting him with finger of death.
Okay. It's a con save again?
Yeah, or DC 18.
16. That's fine.
78 plus 30.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the wizard can't see through magic shit like that.
Wow.
70 damage.
Alrighty.
Oh,
That's fine.
shit.
So you do that, and then Bernard's going to cast. So that hits me. Bernard's going to cast. Let's see here. I don't want to be that mean.
I'm not trying to be mean. This is the wizard defending
No,
his
I know.
property.
Yeah, I know. Let me see what this does. Sorry, I haven't used this spell yet.
Shin Megami Tensei has excellent music.
So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is cast. Yeah, fuck it, Mind Prison. It's an intelligence save, I believe. Let me double check.
Intelligence saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Looking. Is that 17?
Yeah.
Nope, looking for an 18. So you are currently field save. Currently you are Oh, it says conditions here. Charmed and restrained. Charmed creature can attack the charmer or target the charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects.
I
I
have
have
advantage. I have advantage against being charmed. Does this constitute as one of those situations?
No.
Because
I
of
don't-
half health.
Let me see. One creature.
The target succeeds automatically if it is immune to being charmed. So no, you don't.
But I have advantage against.
I don't
being
think it's
charmed.
technically a charm is the thing.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not a
okay.
charm.
Okay.
So I was reading through. I don't think it's technically a charm. I think it's mostly
I'm gonna rule no on that.
it's hard to rule on this one. I'd leave that
Alright.
one up to the DM.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
All right.
But you also are restrained, so your speed becomes 0. Attack rolls have advantage, and you perceive the immediate area around you as just this dark void, and you also suffer 5d10 psychic damage.
A few seconds later, you see Hastian kind of wobbling towards the two of you. He keeps a distance, but he's kind of just staring out from the shadows.
So you suffer 23 points of damage.
All right.
And Bernard says, caught you alone, I see. Well, it's better to take one out than the whole group, I suppose.
Cute. A trap. My speed is 0, but here is a excellent question. We are surrounded by darkness, and for me to move from one spot to another through darkness is a bonus action. But I don't have to move from where I'm standing right now because I can just sink into the floor. Does that count?
If you're
or will
moved
I-
out of the illusion period, you take the 10d10 psychic damage.
I should have counterspelled when I had the chance. Okay. You know what? I will do that as a bonus action anyways. I'm still going to sink through the floor and pop out a bit further down. All right.
D6 psychic damage on top of that 23.
Meanwhile, they literally blow the fuck out of each other in a span of about 10 seconds. Cave's just like blowing up at the moment.
All right. Yeah, after doing that, he looks to Pollux and he says, "I will not be the one who goes here today." And I am going to let me look. I am going to expend 2 sorcery points to quicken spell a disintegration
gonna counter that. Nat 20.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
So
And that just negates it completely, right? It just doesn't even go
You
off,
don't.
right?
Nothing. Yeah. It counters. That spell's been countered.
well, for
It doesn't have.
laughs, as you fade out through the shadow and then you pop back up, you shoot a disintegration ray. Pollux lifts up a hand, and the beam kind of redirects and shoots into the stone nearby and blows like a large portion of the cavern. It like creates like a new cave as it burns through parts of the stone.
Hmm. Very well then, Pollux. It seems you are going to be stubborn about it. I'm going to, because I quicken spell, I'm going to cast Disintegrate again, but at 8th level.
Okay.
And,
What type of damage is disintegration again?
what is
Better
it?
question is how much
It's
health you have.
necrotic.
Necrotic? No.
Force damage.
Yeah,
Oh, force. Do I have
Yeah.
anything against force? I don't think so.
Pretty sure
so
you're
I-
only just like ice and fire and psychic.
Ice, fire, psychic. Yeah. I couldn't remember what all I had. It's been a while since I've done Bernard stuff.
Are you guys seriously trying to kill each other right now?
I mean, Bernard's just doing a lesson for Hastian.
the wizard is not going to let the body of Vlad die, because literally the wizard inhabits the body of Vlad. So.
Okay, but like,
That's what I'm casting at 8th level. Am I killing Bernard right now?
I think you are actually trying to kill Bernard right now.
Well, the wizard's trying to kill Pollux. Wizard can't see through shit like this. And I mean, isn't it like the warlock's fucking body morph like perfect or some shit?
You guys are free to do what you want.
I'm just saying. This is the wizard. I'm role playing this. The last encounter that the wizard had with Pollux, he was going to
No,
murder
you don't
him.
have to explain it to me. I get it. I'm just GM's over here making panic check.
All right, so that's 16d6. I hope you're ready.
Is it 16d6?
Yeah, I cast it at 8th level, man.
16d6
it's
plus 40.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Plus 40.
I'm like,
this is my big boy move.
I'm
Yeah, that's fine. Still got a couple HP left.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna cast
you just make
Disintegrate
a
at
dexterity saving throw.
8th level. Yeah, it's a DC 18 dex save.
All right. Oh, is Dex save?
Yeah.
Let me see
Yeah.
what that is for me. Dex. Oh, that's
I was-
just straight DC.
I was expecting you to counter
Just
stuff.
full.
Oof.
Alright, so
Oh
you-
yeah, I do have a counter spell. Well, still have one spell slot left.
8th level.
Yeah, I might as well give it a shot if I can.
Yeah, go for it.
21.
All right. Wait. The counter spell is the damage.
Counter spell that just negates the spell. You just
No,
it just
for the check, it's the DC is wait.
yeah.
So
It's DC 10 plus spell level. Yeah, so 18 would be. Yeah, so yeah. he
yeah,
got-
but 21. There's not a spell in the
Yeah.
game that's
No.
spell level 21.
Yeah, no.
So that'd have to be spell level 11, and the highest is 9.
Yeah, I had to look at counter spell for a second. I got 10 plus spell level, so yep.
okay, so
Or no, just negated.
Mm-hmm.
you increase the power of disintegrate and shoot it back at Pollux again, and Pollux, this time the beam kind of wraps around Pollux, and you think that it hit its mark, but then suddenly it gathers up in a ball and shoots up into the ceiling. Stone and rubble begins falling all along the cave, and further down into the deeper parts of the cavern you hear a huge rock slide, and part of the cavern collapses in on itself.
Before the wizard ends his turn, though, he is going to retreat backwards down the cavern towards Hastian, because Hastian was coming forward, and the wizard popped through the darkness and towards Hastian, out towards Hastian on the other side of.
Hastian's standing there gripping at his cloak, and he's like blank staring at the both of you.
The wizard is going to stand behind Hastian as a human shield.
Hastian just stands there.
He has returned, Hastian. This is the one who wishes your father dead. Finish him, Use what I've showed you. Take his power for your own.
Hastian,
point.
he totters forward and he says, "Please, teach me."
Bernard will drop the visage and say, "Well, that's the point. I think we should stop this before you kill all of my miners."
The wizard is befuddled. Ah, well then. Very well. I apologize for the mistake. It won't happen again.
Bernard shrugs. A test for both of you, really.
You can change your form.
Yes.
Interesting. I was showing your pupil here a few things about darkness. The shadows.
I can see that. And did you learn anything, Hastian?
He nods to you.
Good.
Very well. I am no longer required in this situation. That was fun, Bernard. Let's not do it again.
If you please. Though, I'd be a bit more prepared if the real thing happens.
Oh, next time I will. You are powerful indeed.
I have a few tricks up my sleeves.
Very well then. For now, Bernard. And the wizard will dissipate again. The flames die down in Vlad's eyes, and Vlad reappears. Oof! What did you do to me, Hastian? We were just learning about shit. Oh, yeah, Bernard. You wouldn't have happened to see some rascal running about. I feel encased. Oh, yeah. That was. What were we doing again?
Oh, I was just watching you teach Hastian.
I must have run into a wall or something. Oh, my nose is bleeding. Oh,
I think a bit of a cave-in happened. I think one of them likely struck your head.
indeed. This place is. Wow. Did we do this, Hastian?
Hastian doesn't respond. He's staring at Bernard.
Well, I think that's enough for today.
Yeah, I need to lay down. I have a headache now. It's something fierce.
Yes. Go get some food and sleep that off.
Yeah, I
I
think
think it's getting a bit late in the afternoon anyways. Time to retire.
I think I might do just that. What were we doing down here?
I'll
Last-
start leading him out as we're talking.
Hastian, he's standing still and he's kind of like watching you walk away. He doesn't follow immediately.
I'll look back and say, "Well, are you coming along then, Hastian? Going to get some food, drink?"
Yeah, Hastian, come on. We can continue this another time, you know? It like I said, practice makes perfect. You just learned you just learned about shadows. Next time perhaps I'll show you how to walk into them.
Pollux, Hastian, he stares and like looks between the two of you, and his mouth opens slightly to say something, but then he closes it, grips his cloak, and totters on behind you.
I'll put an arm around one of his shoulders as he walks and says, "Something the matter?"
Is Pollux stronger than you, Father?
Hard to say, really. Haven't had a chance to test it.
Yeah, Pollux, that guy is nothing but a punk. Let me tell you. You don't want to meet him or be friends with him, Hastian. You're okay with Bernard and myself. That Pollux guy, he's got nothing for you.
Hastian starts walking along with you, and he's just got his head kind of staring down at the floor as you walk.
When did you arrive over here, Bernard? I was under the impression we weren't followed.
Just a moment ago. Decided to come and check up on my mine. It's been a minute.
Yeah, you're and Vlad's gonna give Bernard like a couple like elbow taps, like, your son here has been telling me quite a few things.
Oh, is that
Seems-
so?
Yeah, it seems he doesn't really like his siblings too much.
No, not quite. They're something else.
Where are the little rascals? I haven't seen them running around.
Well,
Are they with their mother somewhere or something?
We have no mother.
Well, I heard you say that, but they just you can't be born without a mom. It just doesn't work that way, my friend.
they're elsewhere at the moment. Hastian here learned to teleport, and that's how he followed us here. Well, me.
Ah, he had to catch up in Daddy's footsteps, eh?
Indeed. He's growing or learning quite quickly.
Yeah, I've noticed that he does get this certain gleam in his eye when he's onto something. He hasn't quite mastered the shadows yet, but I think with time he'll handle it.
Perhaps. It would be a useful trick to know.
He doesn't say anything as you walk along talking about him. Instead, he just kind of stares at the floor. He stops at the mouth of the cave and he looks at the warp shack. And then he doesn't say anything, just keep going.
So, Bernard, this whole mining operation, are those like some type of crazy emeralds or something?
What do you mean?
The glowing green ones. I've never seen. Well, I have never seen rocks glow like that.
It's warpstone.
What?
Listen.
Like it comes from the place where the demons come from?
So,
No, it comes from the moon.
The moon.
after a fashion, don't mention this around anyone else but me, but they makes for some powerful tools.
Yeah, anything that glows green
Siam,
like that can probably blow
especially
up a
don't
country.
mention that around Siam.
Ah, yeah, I heard a
And
story.
people typically don't like the warpstone. It's got a taboo around it, you see. So keep that a bit hush hush.
Yeah, that Siam fellow told me a bit of a story that you may have like created well, the giant slime out in the distance. I mean, I'm not mad about it, but I tried to tell him magic's uncontrollable at times.
Well, that's when I found out about the power of warpstone, you see.
Oh, so that's
I
what it
didn't know much about it until I used it there, and well, that's when I learned, you see.
is. Well, it seems you were making weapons to fight something.
Have you
Something.
seen Hjalmar?
Oh yeah, the big one, the lightning
There's
guy.
an island of people like him, but much bigger. You could call him the runt of the litter.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, when we were out in that battlefield, he was out there by himself, just.
And there are men bigger and stronger than him. An island of them.
Whew, now I know why you're making these weapons. That's it's a bit concerning, my friend.
It
They're
is.
not like enemies of yours, are they? You didn't make them mad, did you?
Some of them do follow a man that would be considered our enemy.
Well, I well, I can't say that I'll be there for that fight. I mean, I'm just an honest thief.
Well,
I just like to steal things here and there.
you wish to leave, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I believe that fight will be the climax of our journey. And I don't think there will be much of a time frame to come around after that. So, I hate to say it, but if you'd like to leave, you're probably going to end up being there.
Mm, I mean, don't be offended if I don't participate in that fight. I've seen what the big one does to demons. I wouldn't. Let's just say I don't want to be on the receiving end of that hammer.
Bernard will shrug and say, well, it seems as if he's on our side for now, so I wouldn't worry about his hammer.
Oh, well, if you say there's more of just, he's the runt, then perhaps when he swings the hammer, it's not going to be as hard hitting as when they do.
Indeed,
Regardless.
but think of it. I mean, I shrug. You don't have to fight, but that's not going to stop them from coming after you.
when you say that to Vlad, he actually smiles. What? You're the first person that's told me I haven't had to fight for them. I knew I liked you for a reason. If you need something stolen, my friend, let me know. I'm very good at procuring objects from locations where they're unbreakable into.
Huh. I'll have to keep that in mind. I have a knack for getting into places I'm not wanted as well.
Like I said,
Bernard
I
will
was right in picking you as a friend.
Bernard will body morph into Vlad to kind of show what he means by that.
Whew. Does that mean that you can do the shadows things too? Haha.
Not quite, but I don't need shadows when I can look like anyone I want. I can just walk wherever I need.
Well, that does help, I guess. And then he's gonna look to Vlad's gonna look to Hastian. It's still better not to be seen, my friend.
Ah, but what if you're caught? If I'm caught like this, and I just transform into a nobleman, if I'm caught like this in a nobleman's house, no one's going to think the wiser. Or a guard, and I shapeshift. But if you're caught and you're just Vlad, well, that poses a bit of a problem, especially if they can stop you from traveling through the shadows.
That is very true. I mean, I do need the shadows. But at the same time, I mean, I'm pretty resourceful.
I'm sure you are. You wouldn't have gotten this far if you weren't.
I wouldn't have gotten these things if I wasn't. And I
Both
just
of
passed
you
this
make
stuff
perception
already.
checks.
Oh,
Alrighty.
yeah.
Perception
Plus
plus 1. 16.
21.
Vlad, out of the corner of your eye, as you and Bernard are talking back and forth, Hastian kind of fell back a few feet and he's walking along. Out of the corner of your eye, you look back, and you could swear that Hastian has shifted his face to Bernard. His face looks like Bernard's, but then when you look at him, it just quickly shifts back, and he's just Hastian again, looking down. You're not even really sure if you saw it or not, but it definitely looked like it.
Yeah,
It was so quick.
Vlad's not going to mention anything because it wasn't Vlad who noticed it. Vlad doesn't really look out for things like that. That was the wizard.
Alright, you just see that, and then he drops it after like a split second.
Alright. Noted. Noted.
Bernard will go back to his usual self as they approach the end and say, but I'll have to keep that in mind if I need something stolen, because I very well might soon enough.
Yeah, well, I tried to offer my services in a different way, but I mean, that caster fellow said that I signed a contract, and apparently here, when you sign a contract, it is, well, not possible to get out of.
Yeah, they like to catch you with the fine print.
Well, I mean, I'll still steal for you, but I would expect, like, payment. I mean, you got a whole mine.
I'll just
Not
blink
like
at him a
another.
couple times and say, what, do you think I can't pay?
Well, I never said that, but I mean, yeah, it's a valuable skill. It's how I make money, you know.
I
And money makes the
understand.
world go
It's a
round.
service. You don't have to tell me.
Vlad talks about not having money. He's got 148,000 gold. Oh man, my goal with Vlad is just to see how much money I can accumulate. Not gonna spend it on anything. I just want to see how much you can get.
I'm not even really sure what there is to spend on anymore.
We don't really have to spend gold. We just take what we want.
There's literally nothing to buy anymore.
We literally take what we want, anyways.
We're getting so close to the end, and it's just like he's gonna blow it all on Amazonian strippers and shit.
I got a big universal bank account. Yalmar's sitting comfortable at like a good 60,000 too.
Once we're back at the inn, Bernard will say goodbye to Vlad and grab some food, some wine, and go up to a room. But his room, he probably has a nice room here. Like
You have
better-
your own separate room. It's like a
Yeah,
master
he's got
bedroom.
like. He's gonna go and start poring over his tomes.
Yeah, Vlad is gonna
Vice
Drink.
is. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Vlad's gonna drink and eat because he has a fucking mind-splitting migraine right now.
Yeah, you probably are fucked.
Yeah, I got dropped down to 36 health off of that.
Yeah, I got pretty low. I was gonna get I was gonna get real low after until I
After that
counterspelled that.
disintegrate.
DM
It
made some
wasn't gonna
panic
outright-
checks at that moment. I didn't want to say
wasn't
anything.
wasn't gonna outright kill me, but it was gonna be pretty close.
I was expecting you to counterspell it off the bat. I didn't know if you had any left or not.
I heard like I'm gonna raise it to 8th level. I'm like,
Yeah. While I said it, I was like, he's gonna counterspell it. It'll be fine. And yeah, no, it turns out it was.
I panicked for a second.
That was Bernard testing to see is this guy even ready for if this guy shows back up? We'll see.
Yep. What would I do? 2 spells well, really I threw out 3, but damage wise, that would have been 179. Because I hit you with that 70 damage first, and then if that disintegrate would have went through, it would have been 109.
I'm in danger.
That's almost Yalmar killing right there.
Oh yeah. That's why Bernard's got ways to deal with magic.
Yeah.
So Bernard's gonna pour over that. Vice has just got him. He just got some alcohol outside. He's just doing that thing where he's just got a branch. He's just stripping the bark off of it with his knife, taking some drinks, biding his time.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to take care of before we finish this up?
Yeah, Vlad's after he's done eating, he's going to fucking sleep.
All right.
Just for fun.
Good.
I was gonna say, just for fun, Bernard's gonna try casting a couple casts of scrying. One towards Hjalmar, one towards Pollux, and one towards Caster, just to see if anything happens. I doubt it, but you never know.
Okay, we'll do. Is there a roll for that, or does it just happen?
Let me look. Scry. So, you can see here a particular creature that's on the same plane of existence. They make a wisdom saving throw, which is modified by how well I know the target and the sort of physical connection I have. I'd imagine that I'm pretty acquainted with Pollux, so that'd be first hand. I'd say either like first hand or familiar. I'm not sure. One of those two.
He's let you scry him before, so we'll go with familiar. It's fine.
So he'd get a -5 to his wisdom save to keep me from doing that. Then I don't have any like trinkets of his. Well, I've got the coin actually. I've got the coin. A possession or garment is what I'd call that coin. So -5 because I'm familiar, and then -4 because possession or garment. So he'd be taking that wisdom save with a -9 on top of whatever else he does. If he's in the same plane of existence, that is.
I don't think Pollux would have any issue with you seeing him.
Okay.
It's not on the same plane, but fuck it, you know? Fuck it. Bernard, as you're scrying in the middle of the night, you're stooped over the coin of Pollux and you're focusing your magic on it. It's something about the coin that lets you do this. You see... You probably saw it through... No, you didn't see it through a Vice's eyes, so this is your first time seeing it. You see the rows of dead trees and the piles of journals and books that make up Pollux's longhouse. It's starkly different. The floor is it's got like a stone white texture to it, and to the left and right of that are grass and a few scattered bushes. But among all of this are the books, and then you see just rows of trees. At the far end, you see the desk. To the right of that is the door to the white expanse, and to the left of that you see a staircase leading up. Sitting in front of... let me get a good picture, because there's actually something... Yeah. You know, you remember this scene from the movies where you look through where Loki drops the illusion and it's him just sitting against the cell wall with everything around him just destroyed and ruined. You see Pollux sitting up against the desk in front of it, just legs spread out in front of him. His hands are just, you know, hanging loosely in front of him. His hair is kind of disheveled, and he's just kind of looking, staring. When you start scrying him, you see him like this, and then his head kind of lifts up, and he looks at you, and he says, "Do you find this amusing?" I don't think you can respond, but
No,
you,
it's just I
Yeah.
can just like look at him. I can't do much other than that.
you just see him, and he looks at you, and he says, "Do you find this amusing?" And then he just kind of looks back to what he was staring at in the expanse, the room, just looking around, staring dead ahead. His hair's all messed up. His clothes are raggedy, and he's just staring.
All right.
As you try the same on Castor, try a bullshit roll.
Oh boy.
I love these. They're very good. Have you ever failed a bullshit roll? Ever?
I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
going
you
to say.
have.
I'm not going to say anything, a fucking thing about that right now. Well, fine.
I'm not gonna
What
say
the
a fucking
fuck is
thing about
that?
that right now.
What is that shit?
What is that?
That's almost the Zinch number right there.
That
That's
would have been
almost
amazing if it
one
was
and
a nat 1, nat 20. What the fuck happens if he bullshits a nat 1, nat 20 on a bullshit roll?
It's happened before.
Fuck happens?
I think that's what happened with the slime.
Oh my god, nat 1, nat 20.
I think that's how the slime was made.
Oh, amazing.
You don't get a location from this, unfortunately. But as you focus, it's a very straining on your mind, like something is trying to keep you out. So you only get brief flashes and visions. But as you look, you see Castor, and he's sitting on the floor of a black expanse that doesn't seem to go anywhere. You don't. It's as if there is something around him, but you can't see it, and it's just him by himself, sitting alone. He's just sitting there as well. It seems like he's waiting for something. And that's all you get.
Okay.
And as for Yalmar, let's talk about Yalmar.
Would Yalmar have made it to the Blackfire Pass yet?
Yeah, you're about to, but here's something I wanna include.
Alright.
Bernard, you see him as he's flying over the land. Yalmar, you look down and something catches your eye. You kind of have to lower yourself down a little bit to see what it is. Coming out from the forest, you see a humanoid figure. Except when you get a closer look at it, you see that it is a walking, humanoid-shaped slime. It's in the form of a man. It walks on two legs, but it is a slime monster. It has no distinct features, no face, no anything. But it's walking. And as it comes out of the forest, it makes a few steps out into the field, and then you see its form begin breaking down, and the slime kind of liquidates and falls onto the grass, spreading out onto the grass, and the grass begins kind of just dying around it for about 5 feet in any direction around it. The slime kind of lingers there on the ground.
Disgusting abomination. Yeah, Yalmar will
look at it in disgust. We need to leave this place. It seems the forces of chaos might not win after all. And Yalmar will continue onwards towards the Blackfire Pass.
Yeah, you're almost there. And
When-
that's it. That's what you see, Bernard.
Okay.
When Yalmar lands in the Blackfire Pass, though, he's going to do his meditation to summon the storm overhead, just for his own safety, while he waits for Thark.
Bernard's gonna do one more ballsy thing before we end, though.
I'm listening.
Bernard, before he sleeps, is gonna try and contact the Golden One.
How exactly are you gonna try to do that?
Well, let me think. I'm gonna use Dream on Power and ask him.
What? All right.
Yeah.
All right. No, not that music. Fuck you. Okay. You're gonna cast Dream on Power.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Did you guys know I got an A in drama class? I'm very good at improv. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Bernard wants answers badly.
he's going to all sources for info.
Yes. The
Good.
answer is yes.
Good. Good. Somebody
What was that?
needs to. I said good. Somebody needs to.
Gotcha.
It's my story, and I want to learn more.
Or it's like, hey, well, it's basically I'm like, hey, so about Castor and Pollux, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, like what the fuck's going on there, bud?
Okay.
Are they saying hallelujah?
Yeah, they are. You know, the lyrics of the song are.
Amen, hallelujah. He's a mighty God.
Bernard, this is probably one of the sorest trials that you faced mentally. When you reach out to Power, he doesn't quite want to see you. You reach out and you try to talk to him, and at first he rejects you, but after a few moments, like he rejects you and shuts down the dream, but then after a moment he kind of reverses it back on you, and then he enters into your mind instead. When he does so, you find yourself standing on an island, much like what Jonathan used to manifest in his dreams. Only around now, it's instead of water, most of it is becoming like fire. It's like a mixture, like water and then oil on top, burning. Power looks at you from across the island. He doesn't say anything.
An interesting greeting. I have a question for you.
What?
Oh, maybe two questions. What's with the cold shoulder?
You are an abomination.
Oh, is that so?
I see your mind.
Hmm? Different tone than you were singing a few months ago when you were begging me not to fight Hjalmar, and I didn't.
You would have killed him if he hadn't come back to you.
I had no wish to fight Hjalmar, and I've upheld every promise I've made to you.
Does not change what you are.
I just shrug. Oh well, I don't quite care for your opinion of me. I wanted to know how I can contact the Golden One. I know he's come to me in dreams and the like before, but I have a few questions to pose of him as well. Regards, Castor.
I care not for his servants.
Hmm.
You wish to speak to him? He is asleep. You would have to wake him.
He's asleep, is he? Oh, that may work in my favor then. We'll see. Well, I guess that was all I wanted from you. But it's rather interesting. You sound more and more like Rage every day.
He crosses his arms.
Perhaps next you'll be the one having a mighty crusade across the lands.
I say this to you. Fight must survive. I
Well?
expect nothing from you. But you will face the blame if he falls. My wrath is not so impotent as you think.
Oh,
Perhaps
dear.
you will be the catalyst for my crusade.
I don't really think he needs me as a babysitter. He's a big boy. And why am I always the one to blame if something happens to Hjalmar? I'm not the one antagonizing any of this, you know.
I don't have anything else to say, because I am bad at this.
That's fine.
Yeah, Bernard, you get the sense that he doesn't like you. You think you get the sense that he kind of is aware of some of the things that you do, and as nicely as you put it, and as honey tongued as you are, he kind of sees. After a few moments, the fires die away over the ocean. To speak to the Golden One, you need a catalyst. Find those that have been connected to him. Use great power and awaken him. That is the only way.
Very well. I'm sure I can manage something.
With that, you'll cut off the dream then.
Okay.
You gotta forgive me sometimes, you know, it's improv. I'm not really good at this.
I got you.
The whole Stonewall power. I'll be right back though. I have to piss something fierce.
Go for it. We're pretty much done with the session. The way I see power is that he's damn near omnipotent. Like when you first met the Golden One and he just scanned your mind and read it effortlessly. Power's got something similar to that, where he knows what you do. He sees the kind of things that you do, especially with the captives and the warp stone and all that. And you know, he's not neutral, but he has his own rules he's trying to follow. So the more disgusting he finds you, he's going to reflect that.
That's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, that was a direct response to his nephew. Should put a leash on him.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna end the video. Fuck you. Fuck you, viewers, which is me. You're an asshole.